Prepare yourself.
Oh, this is the Ninja Troll Digicast.
Hello again and welcome to the Cathedral of Wisdom for this week's edition of the Ninja Troll Digicast. I am Tim Dixon, and with me as always is the bartender in the misty Borderland Cafe, Mike Worth.
Would you like that shaken or stirred, my friend?
It's always shaken, not stirred. Come on.
We have a strict dress code of green plaid only.
Oh, yes.
So better work on those duds.
I need me some new duds, as
new
Johnny
duds.
Thunder would say.
For free.
All right, coming up this week, we're going to have, in our Exploring the Multiverse segment, we're going to have a Crisis in Earth Prime. This one is a big one, so we're actually going to split this up. This week is going to be part one of Crisis in Earth Prime. Yep. This was 5 issues. Is that right?
Four
issues.
Big, giant-size, extra-paged issues.
Yeah, and it went across the Justice League.
All-Star Squadron.
Did Justice Society have a book at this point?
No, it was still JLA.
It was JLA and All-Star Squadron. So it included the JLA, JSA, and the All-Star Squadron. So this was a pretty big one. So we're going to split that up into 2 parts. Today will be, or this week will be
the first
part
2
one.
issues.
The first 2 issues, yeah. Also, we're going to have part 2. We're big on splitting things in different parts.
It's our new gimmick.
Yeah,
we'll have foiled covers soon.
Yes,
it'll
holograms and little scratch and sniff covers. Although you probably wouldn't want to sniff the Ninja Troll. Probably be a bad thing. But we're going to have part 2 of our Robin showcase, which is crazy. Like last week, even splitting it into 2, last week's was very chock full.
Yes.
And this week is exactly the same. Last week we covered Dick Grayson and Jason Todd. This week we're going to start with Tim Drake, and then we're going to cover Stephanie Brown, then Damian Wayne, and then the alternate versions like Elseworlds versions that have been, and touch on some of the different media like
on screen,
different versions of Dick Grayson. Also, we've got of course all the news from the comic rack and a big announcement for a new writer for Black Panther for Marvel Comics.
Yes, awesome.
But a little bit of sad news this week. Jack Larson, who played Jimmy Olsen in the Adventures of Superman in I think it was in the 50s. I'm not sure the exact date.
George Reeve.
Mm-hmm. Yes. George Reeves.
Oh, right. Christopher Reeve.
Christopher Reeve was singular. George Reeves had the S.
George had the multiple personalities.
Yeah, exactly. He played Jimmy Olsen, and he always said that he was afraid that he would be typecast because of that role, but he never He never really turned away from it to try to get away from that. He
had a big career in Broadway.
He was a producer, I believe, after he left the show. But he always loved the show, and he felt like it was a very big part of his life.
Oh yeah,
it kicked off his career at the very least. So.
Right.
So yeah, it was sad to see that. Some other news that came out, and I think this is huge, and as far as I'm concerned, it's a long time coming.
Nerd cred right here.
Bill Finger will get credit for co-creating Batman on Gotham and Batman vs. Superman.
Wow.
I think that is a big deal, and it's a long time coming.
So all right, give us backstory on this.
Okay. Bob Kane was the artist for Batman. He signed a contract with DC Comics in 1939 that everything that is ever produced with Batman in it will say Batman created by Bob Kane.
And we see it today
everywhere. You still see it today. But Bill Finger had just as much, if not even a little more, to do with creating Batman than Bob Kane did.
Was he under contract with Bob?
Yes, he was the writer. He was the original writer of Batman.
Gotcha. Okay.
But the story goes, and something that happened in 1939, you're never quite sure what actually happened.
Right.
But the story is Bob Kane wanted to come up with his character. He went home, worked on it, and came back one Monday with these drawings, and it looked almost like the Birdmen from Flash Gordon.
Oh.
And Bill Finger
Gordon's alive.
Yeah. And Bill Finger took a look at it and said, Why don't you change that to a bat? So that right there is, I mean, it would have been a whole completely different feel. I mean, it'd been Hawkman.
Yeah, or Birdman.
Yeah. So,
Birdman.
yeah, I mean, Bill Finger should absolutely have just as much credit, but Bob Kane would never, while Bill Finger was alive, Bob Kane would never acknowledge his contribution to Batman.
Yeah.
And like I was actually talking about it last week, Bob Kane was notorious for having ghost artists.
Right, he would white label,
Exactly.
hire you to do some work for hire and all that stuff.
And he would put his name on it.
So now, does this spill over to every Batman property out
I would
there?
like to see it do that.
Wow.
But they have said specifically it's Gotham and Batman versus Superman, that Bill Finger
For now.
will be included and given co-creator credit.
Wow, that's cool.
So I
good.
would
A
like
little
to
justice
see,
in the comic world.
I think so. I mean, to me, this is kind of it's not as bad as Siegel and Schuster.
Oh, right. For Superman for so many years.
Yeah.
I mean, how many years was that?
It was
40,
a long,
50?
Yeah. It was a long time. I think it was when the movie came out. It was 78.
Right.
So
who
Neil
was
Adams pushed really hard for it.
it? Was
for them to get
Steranko as well? They went in together.
They were a lot of guys that were really up in arms,
for
but
that.
they were at the forefront to say, hey, this movie's coming out and it's going to make you a lot of money. You don't want this kind of press.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think it's a long time coming, and it's I think it's very cool that they're making that step. And actually, after Bill Finger passed away, Bob Kane did say he had a lot to do with the mythos, but I don't know if it was like he felt like he had to protect his commodity, or I don't know.
Yeah.
So
who knows? Maybe they had a deal. I mean, nobody did contracts back then. Nobody sort of.
And see, that was the big
enumerated
thing. He came up with his contract to say
For
everything for himself that says everything that is ever produced with Batman in it has to say Batman created by Bob Kane.
Awesome. And I just filed for a patent. You have to now say that anything Ninja Troll was created by me.
Damn.
Yeah. So when you die,
I'm gonna
I'll
be
be
the
like,
footnote.
Timmy had something to do with it.
I'll be the footnote. So yeah, I'm glad to see that. It's like I said, it's a long time coming, and I think it's a pretty cool thing. So,
Nice.
But also the man who originally came up with the idea for the original G.I. Joe toy line, Stanley Weston, is actually suing for control of the franchise rights.
So this is the guy who did the tall G.I.
He
Joes.
did, the original,
Not the little 2.5 inches,
Yeah.
like the plastics.
Yeah, the original one. I guess that was probably 70s. That came
Was
out?
it?
I think
Yeah.
so.
Okay.
Because I don't think there's any chance that he'll be awarded the franchise rights. I think they'll make a
What's Hasbro?
settlement.
Right? Is
Yeah.
it Hasbro?
Hasbro owns
that
it, yeah.
owns G.I. Joe toys.
Yeah, I think they'll make a settlement to make it go away. I think realistically, there's no way that's going to be the franchise rights are going to be signed over to an 87-year-old man.
And what? I mean, is he hoping to make money? I mean,
I think that's probably what
the
it is.
movies
Yeah.
are not really killing. So I mean,
Yeah, but they're still. I mean,
he'll get a nice chunk of change.
yeah, he should still. I mean,
Wow.
they're not by any means. They're not blockbusters, but they're still making money.
Yeah.
So and the toys are still making money. So
Wow.
I think he'll get a nice little piece of change. Good for him. I mean, like it's the same kind of thing as Siegel and Schuster. He was working for Hasbro when he came up with it. Oh well, we own that.
Yeah.
So anything you came up with, and he's just
Great.
kind of left out, and it's work for hire kind of deal. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't think realistically there's any chance that the franchise rights will go over to him, but hopefully he'll get a little due money.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
That's
So,
good.
And this is really cool news. The Martian, the new movie, was screened for the astronauts on the ISS, the International Space Station.
That's incredible.
They get all the best stuff.
They did. Right. I always think of that guy who sang Major Tom, right?
Yeah.
Like that music video, and he like spun the camera,
Yeah.
and like I was like, oh my god.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, but they got to see
Wow.
an advanced screening of The Martian.
Yeah, do astronauts talk back to the movie screen? Is what I want to know.
I'm sure they do.
Are they like, that's never going to happen?
Yeah, I'm
Don't
sure
go in there.
I would be interested to see if there was any holes that they could poke in the science.
I bet. Well, they're up there doing it.
Exactly,
You know, they're
yeah.
like, well, let's test that gravity theory.
Yeah,
right
that's.
now.
I mean, I would be. That's what I would be interested to see, to watch it with one of them, I mean, not to mention the fact that it'd be cool to watch a movie with an astronaut.
Or on
But-
the International
or on the
Space
International
Station.
Space Station. Yeah.
popcorn everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, I would love to see if they could poke holes in any of the science.
Nice.
Because that is, to me, I mean, granted I'm not a NASA scientist, but to me, reading the book, that is what helped it be as good as it is.
And you felt, I mean, you're pretty science savvy. I mean, did you feel like
I'd like
it
to
was
think, yeah.
smooth, or
Yes, it was
or
very
did you
smooth.
feel like, oh, I'm not sure that really happens?
No, it was very smooth, and I think that was the thing. This guy did his research, so he knew everything that would happen and would work.
Because if there was a magic moment that was
Exactly,
really magic,
that would break it, and that pisses
Done.
me off. When you and this comes from me as a writer too. When you set up your world, you set up your rules,
right?
and if you stick to those rules, it doesn't matter how crazy those rules are.
Just
But
be
you
consistent.
you set up your rules, and you have to abide by them.
Right.
If you break one of them, it breaks the whole thing.
Right.
And so that was the big thing. His rules were real science that we have right now.
Right. How could we get to Mars
Exactly.
realistically today
Yeah.
with what we would, and it would be some hacked way, right?
Yeah.
Or a formally brilliant hacked way.
And he has to. I mean, the thing is, he has to. They're 4 years away from getting a mission back to get him. So he has to come up with. He's in a habitat that's designed to last for. I think it was 60 days
oh, damn.
for 6 people.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's okay.
So you sort of
Exactly.
deduce that.
You have a mark. He's done this math, and it could get him to like 450 days, but that's still that's not even 2 years.
Damn.
So he has to
Wow.
figure. He's like, okay, I've got to somehow make more food. I've got to learn how to grow food on a planet where nothing grows.
Damn.
And he has to come up. And he comes up with a way, and it's. I mean,
Can't wait to see this movie.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
It's
so
great,
excited.
and that's the.
Is it the Foreman grill? I was always wondering. That seems
Squeeze
like
the
a
fat.
space age.
No, he needs the fat.
Yeah.
No, they have potatoes to see how potatoes would grow in a
They'll grow anywhere.
a different gravity. Yeah, so he gets soil from outside, brings it in, but then he has to. There's no moisture in the soil, so he has to get moisture into the soil. So he has to go. Okay, I need this amount of water to survive, but I need to get some
So I could do
into the
food.
soil so that I can survive.
Oh man.
So it's
incredible.
Yeah, it's very intricate, and it's very very well laid out. So
Wow.
yeah, I'm really looking forward to this movie.
That's very cool.
And if you'd like to read the book, I'll let you read that.
Yeah,
too. So
yeah,
I'll let you
absolutely.
borrow that. And a big happy birthday to 2 Batman connected people.
Yeah.
First is the original TV Batman, Adam West.
Batusi himself.
Batusi himself, yes. A couple days ago was his 87th birthday.
I can't believe that.
I know. He looks really good for 87.
He doesn't look that old on
I mean-
on Family Guy. I mean, they really
They draw him well.
they did a nice job with that.
But actually, he was on Comic Book Men
With the
last year, I think it was.
what's his name? Kevin
Smith. Yeah. I think it was last year or maybe the year before. He was on there, and he did not look bad at all.
Wow.
He looked really good.
Good
So
for
it was
him.
kind of a surprise that he is 87.
Nice.
But also Jeremy Irons, who plays Alfred
Yeah.
in Batman vs Superman, he just turned 67.
Wow.
So 20 years younger, and him too. He looks really good for 67.
Oh man, he's been in a lot of great science fiction
Oh, yeah.
movies and fantasy movies and stuff in the past.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, happy birthday to
Yeah.
those gentlemen.
If you're listening, happy birthday to you.
That's right.
And if you're listening, hey, let us know.
Yeah, if you're listening,
Okay,
then
that's
we're
pretty
doing
cool.
something right.
That's pretty cool. But let's just head into our movie and TV news while we're rolling here with the happy birthdays. In the second episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the team will enlist the aid of an Asgardian to unlock the
Nice.
secrets of the ancient monolith that swallowed Simmons. You remember me telling you about that? It was the last...
The ending of the previous
the
season.
last scene, literally right before the fade to black. This monolith, it would occasionally go liquid.
Ooh.
And they had it in a closed case, but the door was slightly ajar. So when it went liquid, it kicked the door open. It goes out, it swallows Simmons, pulls her back in, and then it's right back to a monolith.
Oh wow.
That was and then
Who
it
would
faded
be?
to black.
Who do you
I'm
think it
not
would
sure
be that
who
would
they-
have the ability to Would it be the bridge guy with the guy who runs
Himdall.
right? Who's the keeper of the gate? I mean, would
Yeah,
he be somebody or?
I don't know. I mean,
I wonder
it
which
depends on
Asgardian.
what that monolith is.
Yeah.
And I mean, Sif has been on their show before.
Who is Sif?
The lady Sif, the
Oh.
female warrior. Although the actress that plays her is now on her own show. What is it? I recorded it the other night, but I haven't watched it yet.
What network?
It's on NBC. She wakes up in Times Square in a bag in Times Square, and she's tattooed from head to toe with intricate clues are included in the tattoos. And she's like Jason Bourne. She has no memory, but she has some serious skills.
Sounds like a fraternity prank.
Yeah, it's very weird,
Wow.
but I can't remember.
Memento.
No, it's she's being called Jane Doe.
Oh. All right, so it wouldn't be her.
Exactly. Yeah. So she's gonna be busy. So
Who's
it's not gonna be her.
Who's the big dude with like the axe or whatever? He's like the big sort of brutish guy.
You mean False Dog?
Would it be
One
him,
of the Warriors 3. He's not exactly the smartest
So probably.
guy, so probably not.
Yeah, he'd be hitting that thing trying to knock it open.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he'd be trying to crack it open.
Yeah.
So Blind Spot is the name of that show
Blind
that
spot.
she's
Okay.
in. But yeah, there is another Asgardian character.
He's got like long hair, right?
This is one they introduced in the show. He's actually he's an Asgardian living on Earth, and he's living as a professor.
Oh,
I can
sounds
barely
like that
I
might
can
be.
barely remember it, but that sounds like probably what they're gonna go with. So it's not like somebody from the movie is gonna pop in.
All right, so Professor Pegasus will show
There's
up
something, whatever his name is.
and
Um,
wave the horn, and we'll
So yeah, I think they actually helped him like stay hidden on Earth because I believe he left Asgard on not
bad
exactly
terms.
great terms. So he's trying to stay hidden.
he didn't clean his room.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they have big rooms, so
That's a lot to
There
clean.
would be a
you
lot
know?
to clean.
I mean,
so.
Thor's got that hammer. It's faster. It's like a leaf blower.
So that'll be interesting to see who that is and how that works out.
That's cool. When does Shield premiere again?
It is not next week.
Yeah, we're
but
coming
the
up close,
next.
right?
Yeah,
29th.
Is it 29th?
September. Yep. Tuesday the 29th.
So it is next week.
Yeah, it's next Tuesday, right? We had Gotham Monday.
That's right. Yeah, next week it will be that, and then the next week will be Flash and Arrow and
That's
iZombie. Okay,
Cool.
And speaking of Gotham, Cameron Monaghan's character on Gotham that pretty much everyone thinks is the Joker.
Yeah.
He kind of looks at it that there's a possibility, but maybe, and this is from him, maybe the Joker is more of a concept and not necessarily one person.
Oh.
So I think it sounds like they're going to play around with the elements of the Joker, but it not actually be the Joker.
Oh. Okay.
So I don't know.
think he'll absorb characteristics
He
and
may.
henchmen maybe,
Yeah.
and that's cool. So maybe it's to show it develop. Because if he just shows up one day and he's like,
Green hair.
let's have a laugh.
Yeah, but
it's like,
he has the laugh, and he's always cackling, and every promo they do with him, he looks a lot like the Joker.
oh, that's great.
So yeah, and he's got it nailed too. I mean, he really looks like somebody who could grow up and be the Joker.
Cool.
But he was first introduced as his mother was killed, and he was not a suspect, but then they slowly kind of suspected him, and he changed. Like there was one scene where in the interrogation room where he realized the jig was up, and his face just changed entirely.
He went dark.
And it was good
man.
stuff. And actually, I just finished watching the.
Did you watch the premiere?
No, I watched the premiere, but I watched the finale. I was trying to
Okay.
catch up, and
Yeah,
that
I
was the
get
only
it.
one I had left.
Okay.
The guy, and I had to look this up to see who the guy is.
Who is
the
this?
guy who plays the Riddler, Edward Nygma.
Oh, who's working for the police, right?
Yeah, he tore it up in that episode. He had this little moment where it was almost like he was physically trying to keep his bad side from coming out.
Oh.
It was a really good scene. He was in the lab where he's like like almost like a card catalog. He's looking through little files and stuff like that.
Mhm.
The lady who he's in love with, she was in love with a cop, and he he got rid of the problem.
Oh, I remember
He
you
killed
telling
the
me
guy,
that.
and then he
yeah.
had to dispose of the body. He is played by Corey Michael Smith on the show. She realized the cop that she was in love with wrote her a letter, and it was Eddie wrote it.
Oh,
Just to say,
saying like,
don't look for me.
yeah,
You
I'm
deserve
gone,
something
and-
better.
Oh man,
But if you look at the letter, and
catfished.
he does this at the end of that scene when she first reads the letter. It's like, oh, to heck with him or something like that. He looks when she leaves the room. He looks at the letter and he runs his finger down the line of the first letter of each line, spells out Nigma.
Oh,
So he cannot resist leaving a damn clue.
everywhere.
Everywhere. Exactly.
Yeah.
So she realizes that, and she comes and says, I saw that, and he's like, well, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't. That's a coincidence, and he just kind of blows it off, and she leaves, and then he has this little episode where he's arguing with himself.
Oh, so he's
And
got a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde
and
thing about him.
they did it with a ghosting image, like a special effect, to
Okay.
where when the other person is answering him, it goes into like a
it,
weird
turns angle. and
and it's like
cool.
he's here, and then there's a ghost image over here, and it was extremely well shot, and the actor just knocked it out of the park.
Awesome.
So sorry, you're sitting there going, oh, he's got real problems in his head. There's a couple people in there. So
I keep flirting with this show, and I
I
Alright.
think,
I
yeah.
appreciate you keep advocating because I'm going to jump into it.
Yeah,
eventually.
I think it's if for nothing else, I mean, if you can, and I've tried to just kind of divorce myself from, okay, I feel like it is a mistake that they're introducing too many of these villains too early.
You'll let that slide.
If I can just put a pin in that, put it off to the side, and just watch the show. It is extremely well done. Robin Lord Taylor, who plays the Penguin, is off the charts. The guy Corey Michael Smith, who's playing Riddler, is really knocking it out of the park, especially towards the end of the season. He really got really good. And I think it's Ben McKenzie, who plays Gordon, and Donnell Logue, who plays Harvey Bullock. Their chemistry is awesome. They did not like each other at first, and Harvey, like I said, Harvey kind of wants to be good, but he wants to be clean, but he's in a dirty city.
Yeah.
So when the show first starts, he's just pretty much openly mob connected, but he wants to do good, and with Jim Gordon's example, he's able to become a good cop.
Yeah, because Bullock's, you've always said, has been sort of on. He's not quite dirty, but he's not quite clean.
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
Just going with the flow.
Yeah, going with the flow, exactly. So, but they're doing just an incredible job with the show.
A question, because I was reading Batman '66, and it's the Poison Ivy issue, and they show the little bit of origin of her, and I guess her parents had the Isley Botanical Garden or whatever in Gotham before something went crazy with her dad, and but they show little Pamela with the red hair giving Bruce a rose, and him going like, "Oh my God!"
Oh,
so I didn't know, because this is him as a kid, if that at all has any connection. If there's any little kids who have been in the world with him.
They on Gotham, they have shown Pamela Isley
As a
as
little
a
girl?
kid, as a little girl. Yeah.
Okay, well, that would make sense.
Yeah.
I
They
guess
have
with
it.
that.
They have shown that, and of course, Selena Kyle is a big part of the show.
Okay.
The future Catwoman.
Right.
And people call her Cat. That's so yeah, you've got those. At least they are young. That's the thing. Robin Lord Taylor is I guess Penguin was older.
He was an older guy.
Yeah. So that can be.
But it's going to be a lot older.
But the end of end of season 1, he's pretty much eliminated all other competition. I mean, so you never saw Jada Pinkett Smith, her character. You never see a body. She's dumped into the ocean from a long way up.
But you don't know if that's
But they
her
could,
or
but you could, they could bring her back.
yeah.
I think they may at some point bring her because I love her character because she was a ball breaker, man. She was it was awesome.
Cool.
But Ben McKenzie, like I said, the guy who plays Jim Gordon, he says there will be more humor in this season. So it won't be quite as
It's
dark.
dark. Okay, that's cool.
And Bruno Heller, the showrunner, has confirmed that we will see the Court of Owls.
Oh, nice.
Kind of a tip off when they showed the scene with a guy in like a armored uniform. That was kind of a tip off if you know the current Batman mythos.
That's what's going to come out.
Going to be, yeah.
Does Owlman have anything to do with Court of Owls?
No.
Okay. Well, I'm just curious because they look similar.
But no, they
Like the main owl guy.
The guy in the suit is their their operatives, and they're called Talons.
Okay.
So that's
Okay. All right. That makes sense.
So we will get to see that this season in Gotham.
Cool.
They have also announced how old Peter Parker will be in the new solo Spider-Man movie. He will be 15.
That's young.
Yeah, well, that's what he was.
That's what he was when he got bit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was about that age. I mean, because he was still in high school.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're definitely taking him back to high school. And this time it'll actually be an actor who looks like he should be in high school, rather than
a 30-year-old
Andrew
who's
Garfield.
Like,
who's
hey.
playing.
Yeah.
Who's playing? That's supposed to be a 16-year-old.
His suit's a little tight.
Yeah. So
I have to wear a cup.
It'll be interesting to see if he's also that age in Civil War.
Well, they say he'll have been fighting crime for a year, right?
Yeah.
You were saying so.
It could be
16.
Yeah.
Yeah, 17 maybe. All right, that's fine. I mean,
Yeah,
I know in
that'll
Civil
work.
War he was already much older, and
Yeah.
I don't know if they had kids yet, him and Mary Jane, where that was in the mythos, but
so. Maybe they did. I don't know.
yeah,
I don't remember if.
I just remember it being bad for his life.
Yeah, it was
completely.
very bad. Yeah, and it would still be bad. Even they were saying that he would be in Civil War. Has been fighting crime for a year, and he's more of a urban legend. But still, even then, it would still suck. I mean,
right
to come out and unmask and everybody know. I mean, because
knows who you
even
are.
if he is as an urban legend, he's still going to have enemies.
Of course.
And as soon as you unmask, all I got to do is do a Google search, and you know where Aunt May lives, and then so
you know how much taxes she paid last year.
Yeah. So Macy Williams, who plays Arya Stark on Game of Thrones, says that Jon Snow is dead.
Indeed.
Dead.
D-E-D, dead.
Yes.
Indeed, but I just saw a story on Gawker that he was spotted walking through the airport where they're taping.
That's the thing. He keeps.
He'll be a White Walker.
It's a push. I
think
figure
he has to be a White Walker.
They that's why she actually came out and said it, because there's these rumors, because they keep seeing him places, and people want him to not be dead. I think that's the biggest thing, is they like the character, and they want him to still be around, so they want him to still be on the show.
Well, some people say that he may have embodied his wolf, right? Like how Bran can.
Yeah.
Or that he becomes a White Walker, because they don't burn him, and that's the
Yeah.
only way to prevent him from being one.
Okay.
It can go in a bunch of directions.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be great. A friend of mine, Matt Moore, a.k.a. Puck McGruff on Instagram, he did this beautiful painting of Jon Snow as a White Walker.
Oh, cool.
And when I tell you that, like, it makes me believe that that's going to be what it is, just how
Yeah.
good it is. I think speculation-wise, that could be, one of those things. But I mean, he's hanging out with them. It's not like he's there for craft services, like to.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway,
but that may also be a way of redirecting things. If they want
to say he's dead is accurate.
If they want, that's true. Yeah, if he is a White Walker, then he is dead.
It's not he's off the show.
Yeah,
right. He's not.
Yeah,
coming
that's
back
true.
next
Yeah,
season.
so that may be kind of a redirect. Well played, Macy. Simon Kinberg says that X-Men Apocalypse is a bigger movie in both physical scale and emotional stakes and it is a culmination of this mini trilogy of stories. So
So the
First
Horseman.
Class,
Oh,
um, Days of Future Past, and then this will be
Age
like
of Apocalypse.
the culmination of this little trilogy.
Yeah, and it'd be great to see the Horseman, right? Right, Archangel. Wasn't Deadpool a horseman? Or who were the
No, I don't
horsemen?
think so.
The four horsemen of Apocalypse. 'Cause, I mean, Archangel was the most sort of famous because of his super.
Well, he went from angel to being archangel.
Right,
That's,
which was
the
like
Apocalypse made him
whoa.
when he ripped his wings out. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's not cool.
Well, I typed it in and it went to like the Bible.
There's
the
another,
real horseman of Apocalypse.
Ric Flair.
Yeah.
It's Arn Anderson, Ole Anderson, Ric Flair, and Tully Blanchard,
That's right. Yeah.
and then Archangel. He was the manager.
Yeah, Judgment Day was the one. I forget now who were the other ones that joined him. Yeah, the original Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse panel from X Factor number 24. Yeah, I'm forgetting who else was it because I guess there's been a few because there was
I'm
a
sure,
second
yeah.
incarnation.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, and Archangel didn't stay with him, so
no, right, he broke away.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember when he rejoined X Factor and like his skin was still blue and he had the blonde hair and it was a great looking character.
Yeah, Archangel
For a good while.
it was like you said, it was a different look, and it was, I mean, I liked him better as Archangel than I did as Angel.
Oh, without a doubt. It just made everything like really, really cool.
Yeah.
As far as that went. I mean, because I was an X Factor reader for a while, and it was good. It was like you still had the sort of the idyllic feeling of the teenage X-Men and stuff in the original series, because the new team, they got all dark really quick.
Yeah.
And they just went to darkness,
Yeah.
and they held that for a very long time.
X Factor was the original team, right? Like when the
Yeah.
the regular X-Men book
Reformed.
Yeah, they reformed a new team.
Right.
Then the original team went to X Factor. Is that right?
Shortly
Okay.
after. Yeah, it
Okay.
wasn't quite immediate. They were
And then-
still X-Men, but then they...
And then X Force. Well, that's the
It's a
one I
whole
get
new
those
team.
two. X Factor and X Force, I get those confused. X Force was with
that was like
Cable and that was in the 90s.
Yeah. What was his name? Shatterstar.
Yeah.
The swordsman guy. Domino. Warpath was on that team
Okay.
again. He was actually He was a issue number 94, new Team X-Man.
Okay.
With like Colossus and Nightcrawler.
Okay.
But yeah, there's so many
Yeah.
subsets of it. That's why
Exactly.
Avengers is doing that now.
Now it's doing
A-Force, Uncanny Avengers. It's like, come on, y'all.
Exceptional Avengers. And all this
A-Factor
stuff,
is going to come out soon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah.
So yeah. But the Walking Dead also released a synopsis for their premiere,
Oh, I haven't seen this yet.
and it makes a mention of a new threat
Ooh,
that they
which we think
face
is
a
Negan.
new- I don't know. I mean, Negan could be introduced first. I would think it would be better to introduce him at the end of a season and
Right,
kind
what
of
you
be a
said.
cliffhanger.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we've seen there's definitely a group that's gathering walkers. We saw that with the trap that they had with the trucks.
What are you going to do with them? Yeah.
Yeah, they had the thing that, like, when somebody messed with the truck, a radio goes off, so all the walkers converge. That's a trap. I mean, it's obviously built by somebody
Right.
to gather them.
Yeah.
And we've seen the W's carved into their
For the wolves?
yes,
Yeah.
because we keep seeing the thing, wolves not far. So is
Wow.
that our new threat, or is this something even bigger than that?
Right. Could be internal, like diarrhea.
That could be, yeah, dysentery runs through the camp. It could be. That would have to be.
They got enough power to play
serious,
Oregon Trail, but Timmy still died
That's right.
of scurvy.
Of scurvy, yeah. Also, Zack Snyder says that Batman versus Superman is Man of Steel 2, which is kind of weird
Yeah,
because originally that's what it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
But then they went, oh no, this is not the Man of Steel sequel. This is something separate. And then now they're back to saying it is the Man of Steel sequel.
Well, now that it's been accepted and it's embraced, right? We all
I think,
love it. We all
maybe,
want to
yeah.
see it. But maybe if we had said, "Oh, it's Man of Steel 2, Batman versus," maybe people would have been like, "All right," because like I think
Yeah.
you're a part of a community of people who was unhappy with how Kal-El killed
Yeah.
Zod, right?
Yeah.
That could be, you know.
And I think is from what we've seen of the trailer and everything of Batman vs Superman, Bruce Wayne is our voice.
Yeah, right. It's all that.
They're addressing that with Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
So I mean, if that is the end result, Bruce Wayne tells him, "Listen, you're way too powerful. You're too reckless," and if that reins him in, I'm perfectly fine with it. It's an arc. At that point, it's a story arc.
I think it will. It makes
Yeah.
sense that they can have a friendship.
Yeah,
right?
and
Maybe form
I
a
mean,
team.
they've never been quite like bosom buddies. Like in the Super Friends, they were like
Yeah, right.
pals.
Let's go get milkshakes.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's not the case in the comic books. They have very very different outlooks on
Totally.
life.
And they always compliment and checkmate each other.
Yeah, Cal usually
frankly.
looks at everybody from the with the idea that everybody is good, where Bruce looks at it the exact opposite.
Totally.
He's
yeah.
just waiting on somebody
What's
to
the
screw up.
motivation here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
what are they doing? Yeah, what's their motivation? What are they trying to pull?
Like a detective.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Versus
So,
a reporter. But maybe reporters
well, kind of.
should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should be the other way too, but but yeah, he is the way he was raised by the Kents. He's raised to be more hopeful, and that's the thing. That's the difference from them.
Yeah.
And that was the thing that another thing that bugged me about Man of Steel is there's not a lot of hope in that movie, and I didn't like the Kents were. I don't know. I just didn't like. Pa Kent was basically he just told him to kind of hide.
Yeah.
Yeah, just protect yourself.
Right.
Wait, that's not what Pa Kent says. He tells him that he needs
To do something and
Yeah.
change the world, you've got a gift, right? I remember in the Christopher Reeve single.
Yes.
Right, with who was it that played Jonathan
That was
Kent in the 80s? Because it was a famous guy, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a known guy.
Because it was what's his name played Jor-El.
Marlon Brando.
Marlon Brando. Yeah, I forget who played. But then he has the heart attack. I know, it's so sad.
Yeah, yeah, that sucked.
So that was. So they're trying to maybe. Gosh, I wonder. So so this being Man of Steel 2, I think it's a safe time to say it.
Glenn Ford was.
Who was it?
Glenn Ford.
Glenn Ford.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But that was the thing. Yeah. I mean, if you have the power to do something to help somebody, you do it.
You wear your underwear on the outside.
That's
of your
right.
uniform
You do that
with a belt.
It's with a belt. Yes.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was kind of weird that that Pa Kent didn't. It was almost the exact
Cold.
opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I could understand, like when the tornado was coming to get him, and he told him not to do anything. He was sacrificing himself to protect his son. Like, I don't want you to expose yourself to that you have powers to all these people.
Right, just to save me.
Just to save me.
Yeah.
That part I could understand. But the whole part of him telling him just to hide and not show he has powers and not do anything, that was just really odd.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well,
yeah, but we've kicked that horse for a long time.
that
So
can's down the road.
yeah, exactly. I haven't watched the Muppets premiere. It was on. I think it was last night. It was on.
Yeah, I think
or
so.
the night before.
Yeah, I heard an NPR story on it.
But the series co-creator Bill Prady says that the new Muppet Show will return the Muppets to their roots as adult entertainment. That's how Jim Henson always intended it.
And they're running it like it's a mockumentary.
It's like The
reality
Office.
show. Yeah, exactly.
It's like The Office, but with the Muppets.
So like there's a part, and I heard only on audio and on our WFAE here in Charlotte, where Kermit was like, talking to Miss Piggy, and then later he's in the interview room, and he's like, I like to, he says something like, when I'm dating her, when she's outrageous, it's kind of sexy. And he said the word sexy, right? And it's like, Kermit, what? You know?
Well, the clip I heard was, and this was on a radio commercial, like for the premiere.
Mm-hmm.
He's made my life a bacon wrapped hell.
Awesome.
That is the best line ever. I
And
love that.
there's one where somebody asked Fozzie a question, and he's like, "That is racist." Yeah,
Yeah, I can't
hilarious.
wait to watch this. It's actually, I mean, because I always watched it when I was growing. It wasn't
It was the
necessarily
variety show.
It was
You
a
watched
variety
it, right?
show, exactly. Yeah. And
With
now,
Electric Mayhem and
yeah, and
yeah.
since then, and that's what Bill Prady is saying that since Jim Henson he got sick and he couldn't really be part of it anymore,
Mhm.
and it got turned into the Muppet Babies and it got turned into everything specifically for
Muppets Take
kids.
Manhattan.
And yeah, it was all for kids, and it's not what Jim Henson intended.
Right.
So, but unfortunately, there's one group called 1 Million Moms, which is there's not actually 1 million of them,
No.
but they like the sound of that.
They just on Twitter they have.
They are
followers.
taking aim at the Muppets for that specific adult content.
I can't believe that. Yeah,
That's what they're gonna do.
I get it.
Yeah,
but
I mean, it is what it is. That's. But yeah, I can't wait. It's on my DVR, but I haven't watched it yet, so I can't wait to watch it, and I fully intend to love it.
I hope it does well.
Yeah. So, we talked about Macy Williams just a little bit ago about Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones has set
Crushed
an Emmy
it.
Award record with 12 Emmy Awards in 1 year.
Unbelievable.
Between the Creative Arts Emmys, which I think I'm probably
That's for production staff.
that's
right?
that's like production staff and score and stuff like that. Between that and the regular Emmy Awards show, they got 12 Emmys
That's amazing.
this year.
Yeah.
That's nuts. That's
That
absolutely
is
nuts.
amazing.
And Peter Dinklage won Outstanding Supporting Actor,
Oh, that's great.
which is well deserved. Because I haven't watched in what season are we in now?
5, I think.
Okay, I probably haven't watched in 2 years, so I need to catch up.
Yeah.
But dude, yeah, Peter
It's
Dinklage
good.
just kills it from the moment from the point you say go. He was one of the best characters on there.
Wait till you
Just
see
awesome.
him now. Wait till you
Oh,
see
yeah.
the position he's in now. You won't believe it. I mean,
Oh,
you won't,
cool.
Yeah, you won't believe how things really change.
Yeah.
Gosh, I was reading that well, at least what's his name, Chris Hardwick from At Midnight, the comedian,
Yep.
Talking Dead,
Talking
all that
Dead,
stuff.
yeah.
Which he got an Emmy for that. I
Oh, did he?
believe, right?
Cool.
Oh no, he got it
Good.
for At Midnight. He got
Okay.
an Emmy, and he took it out on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, he kissed it and stuff. But he was saying that as a comedian, he's pissed because there were no stupid moments at the Emmys.
Yeah.
Everybody said good things,
Yeah.
right?
There's
And
nothing he could make jokes about.
No, nothing. Nobody was an idiot.
It's the worst.
And I think the joke was we were really hoping for that Peter Dinklage nip slip, but it never happened. The malfunction.
Yikes.
And then we had a first, right? That actress, she's the first African American woman to win
Yes.
an Emmy. I forget.
It was leading
was it
actress.
leading actor.
I think so.
Oh,
Yeah.
man, that's
Yeah,
great.
that's a big deal. I mean,
There's some big Emmys this year.
but it's also, to me, it's a little shocking. It's 2015,
I know.
and this is the first time that African American has won
we're at
leading
an Emmy,
actress.
and if you think about the sort of
Yeah.
tier of awards, right? Emmys are big, but they're not
Yeah.
Oscars, right? I mean,
Well, they're
getting up there.
they're a pretty big deal. I'd say it's right around the same thing.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
to
for
me,
television.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
they're not cable ace awards.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a pretty big deal. So,
Right.
Ant-Man, this really shocked me.
Hmm.
Ant-Man has earned over 178 million at the domestic box office.
Wow.
Which is more than the first Captain America, the first Avenger.
What?
Yep.
How?
I-
Everybody
I don't
loved
know.
the first Cat movie.
I know.
And was like,
I know,
oh,
but it
this is
has-
going to be great. And
Yeah, now I don't know if that's just domestic or whether it's global, because I know the global Ant-Man is doing the numbers on the global scale are
Are
doing
lower?
better.
Oh, better.
Yeah, so this will that may be where it's crossed the first Cat movie.
That's awesome.
It's global.
I wonder,
But hey, I mean,
with the recession, maybe they had to adjust for inflation.
there you go. Yeah, and maybe it's just a slow burn. I mean, it just took a while. More people are going to see it, and I don't know.
Well, there's never been an Ant-Man movie, ever.
Yeah.
Right? There's
Yeah.
been Caps. There's been 2 Cap movies, right, in
Yeah.
the past?
Oh yeah.
And a TV show with a motorcycle.
That was awesome.
Oh. I used to have
With
that.
the
The
clear-
crank. We used to crank the...
That's
the
Evil Knievel. That's a different thing.
Well, they had a cat.
They had a cat version too?
where you'd
Oh,
load them up.
okay.
Yeah, because the Evil Knievel was the original.
Yeah.
And you would
Yep.
let him go, and he had the...
I never saw the
Good
cat
times.
version. Well, okay. But I
Well,
remember the TV
You
show
weren't
where
paying attention.
the shield, instead of being white, it was clear. So
Right.
he could put it on the
On the bike.
on the motorcycle. And that was his windshield.
That's right. No bugs in his mouth.
That's right. So, but this is a cool thing too. Annie Potts and Ernie Hudson will both make cameos in the new Ghostbusters.
What
So
do you
now-
want? Yeah, it's going to be great.
So now every they haven't said anything about Rick Moranis
Oh,
or Sigourney Weaver, but
okay.
most of the main players that are still with us will make cameos because Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, now Ernie Hudson. So that's all the living Ghostbusters.
Right. Hal Ramis, obviously.
He can't. Unfortunately, can't do a cameo. But then you got Annie Potts who worked for them. So you got the big players. And like I said, Rick Moranis and Sigourney Weaver would be the only two like big parts that that you would still need. Or Bill Atherton, maybe Walter Peck would show up.
Yeah.
No, he's not. Yeah, he's passed away too. I think.
Did he really?
I think so.
Oh, man.
I'll-
I have a warrant from the Environmental
God.
Protection
I would
Agency.
love to see him.
Yeah.
See if he has passed away.
Oh, I hope not, man. He was great. Yeah, I think he's still alive. Yeah, he's still alive.
Okay. Then he needs to be in the movie.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm saying it right now. Walter Peck needs to show up in the movie.
Oh, man.
So-
Yeah, right.
So, but yeah, I think it's kind of cool to have them involved. And it'll probably be just like a real quick cameo, but still, just the fact of having them in there. So,
Oh, man.
and also, this is something we forgot to mention last week, but there will be a new Godzilla King Kong movie.
Awesome.
I am all for this, absolutely 100%.
Yeah.
Although
Dun,
it was
dun.
the weird thing with the original, they had to make King Kong a whole lot bigger than he was in the King Kong movie.
30s movie? Yeah, whatever.
Because if you think about it, he climbed the Empire State Building.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, Godzilla is stepping on buildings.
Oh, yeah. So
So they had to
Ah.
make King Kong a whole lot bigger to be in the movie
in
with
order to
Godzilla.
battle
Yep.
Godzilla. Oh,
Yeah.
I guess so. Yeah.
And
that
actually,
makes
in the
sense.
original, they had two versions. The version that was released in the United States, King Kong won. The version that was released in Japan, Godzilla won.
Oh, well, yeah.
That makes sense.
It's a national security issue.
Exactly. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how they do it. I'm all for it. That's
Oh, man. I just-
absolutely awesome.
Yeah, I'm
So-
excited to see that.
Yeah.
I love giant monsters fighting.
Speaking of monsters, the island of Dr. Moreau
Oh.
is being made into a TV series at CBS. And the good doctor will be a woman.
Hey, all right.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Yeah. Not all mad scientists are guys.
No,
Women
No.
can be mad scientists
right?
too.
Madness is equal opportunity.
There you go.
It is.
So yeah, that'll be interesting to see how they turn that into a series because it's been made into a movie like 5-6 times.
Yeah.
But
What's
it'll be
the famous
interesting.
one? Was that from the 70s or the 80s?
Yeah, probably the 70s.
Okay.
They did a version just a couple of years ago, I think.
Did they really?
Yeah,
Oh, did it go right to DVD?
pretty much. Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
But yeah, it seemingly lends itself better to a one-off movie rather than a series. But you never
Yeah.
know. We'll see.
Well, the island of Dr. Doolittle didn't do as well. I heard. Yeah, it was not as good. You know.
No, not so much. But Rob Liefeld, our favorite '90s artist, he says he had a convention. He said that Colossus is in quite a bit of Deadpool. It looks
Cool.
like in the trailer, looks like all you see of Colossus is in just that one fight scene.
Yeah, where he armors up.
Yeah,
And then,
but he's saying that he's in a lot of it.
cool.
So that'll be another. It'll be interesting to see how much of a connection to the X-Men there is.
Yeah,
So I mean, because they want to build that shared universe.
they would love to.
So yeah,
they would really love to.
so it'll be interesting to see that. And we got to see the actually earlier in the week we got to see the first picture of Red Tornado from
He
Supergirl.
looks good.
He
He
looks
looks good.
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
he looks really good. And then Monday, the newest Supergirl trailer was released. It was
Oh.
during one of the shows, and I can't remember what it was, but
Yeah.
it aired Monday night.
Awesome.
We got a look at Reactron, which
Okay.
is a villain that she'll be facing, and Hellgrammet, which is an ultra scary villain.
Oh,
He in
I'll look it
in
up.
the comic books,
Hellgrammit.
it's a guy who is an entomologist.
Oh.
Who exactly? Yeah, it's a bug.
It's a real bug.
A hellgrammit is a bug, and the scientist turns himself into a version of it.
Oh, wow.
In the trailer, you get a scene of.
Oh, I see. There's the guy they casted.
Yeah, see if you can find that. That's the picture right there. That is frightening. It's a human face, but the bottom of it becomes like
a bug
insect
mouth.
mandibles.
Yeah, right there.
And it's like I saw that one freeze, and I'm like, oh my god, that's frightening. So yeah, that was a really scary look there.
Wow.
So obviously he's not doing like the full trans mutation into the
whole
insect,
bug.
but the
Yeah.
whole bug. So, but which makes it even scarier.
Well, maybe it'll be like
Quite
Men in
frankly.
Black. Yeah, where it's
Yeah.
like the he holds it in and then pops out when
Yeah.
the time is right.
And the best part is the actor's name that plays him, Justice Leak. His name is Justice, for God's sakes.
Really?
Absolutely.
Oh God.
That may not be his birth name, but that's what he goes by at least.
It's his pen name.
And yesterday is actually the Earth equivalent birthday for Kara Zor-El.
Huh.
So happy birthday, Supergirl.
Yay.
And on we had word earlier that the 1 million moms, or the handful of moms that call themselves 1 million moms, are blasting the Muppets. And this is a different group, but Parents Television Council. They say that Supergirl is one of the best shows coming up this fall.
Wow. Even with insect changing people.
Yes, but it is a very empowering show. I've seen the pilot, and it's very much of girl power, almost a little too much, where they lay it on a little too thick.
I hope they dial that back and just let it be.
Just let it be, and the message will get across without you hammering it like that.
Right. Every second you're saying, "Hey, this is a great
Yeah.
example of girl power."
Exactly.
Then that's gonna.
Yeah. It'll get to be too much, but
right.
but yeah, it is a very very much a uplifting kind of thing.
Well, thanks PTC for your seal of
there you go.
approval.
That's right.
Kapow.
Yep. And in one more attempt to put his actually it's not him this time, but I usually say in one more attempt for George Lucas to get his hand in my back pocket. But this time it's Disney putting their hand in my back pocket. They will re-release the original theatrical versions of the Star Wars saga.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
So
yeah.
the versions that we saw at the theater without Han shooting first, with Han shooting first, without that stupid girly scream that Luke let out falling. That was the one that almost bugged me the most.
Was this in Empire?
In Empire Strikes Back.
When he goes down the chute?
He's being confronted by Vader. Vader's saying, "Hey, I'm your father. Join me. We'll take out the Emperor. We'll be in charge of the entire galaxy."
Wow.
As father and son. He looks down to what to him at the time seems certain death.
Yeah.
I'm going to fall to my death, but I'd rather do that than join you. And he's completely at peace with himself. He looks back at Vader, and then he lets go and he falls. And he's completely at peace, and he just falls. In the special edition, they added in this girly scream as he's falling. And I was like, stop that. That's just horrible.
Oh,
it's absolutely horrible.
I never noticed
They
this.
took it out.
Did
Like
they?
in the Blu-ray that I have now, it's gone.
Yeah.
It's gone. Because I think there was enough people that were upset with that.
If you would like to hear Luke scream,
Yeah.
call 1-900.
Hit the audio button on the
Scream a lot. 50 cents per
DVD
call.
remote. So, but yeah, that was the one that bugged me a lot, even almost as much as the Han shooting first, like Greedo, the whole thing there.
So, all right. So the next part of this news story here, all right, I'm curious because I've heard, okay, there you go. All right.
Yeah.
This is Star Trek 2, right, all over it.
Hayden Christensen.
Right. The original, played the teenage Vader, right, in the episode 2 and 3.
Yeah, is reportedly being cast in episode 8 and supposedly Star Wars Rogue Squadron as well.
As what, though?
I don't know.
As a ghost?
Maybe like a flashback thing. I don't know.
Because they switched it up, right? So they, didn't they? Which movie was it where they brought in the newer actors for the old were older ghosts in the special
That was
edition?
Return.
Return of the Jedi.
Yes.
Okay, so that's where they showed who. Who did they replace?
They replaced the old Anakin
Right.
that Luke saved on the
Death
Star and replaced it with Hayden Christensen.
Okay. All right. So it wasn't the guy who was the unmasked, chalky white dude.
No. It was the ghost.
It was the
which
ghost.
makes no sense because if
Vader would have been disfigured, completely disfigured by then, right? So why?
It was that was the thing. It was when you saw the ghost, it was Anakin. Now that he was back to being Anakin because Luke turned him back to the light side.
Yeah.
So,
but you saw Alan McGinnis.
Yes.
Or Alec McGinnis, rather.
Yeah. Just Guinness, no Mick.
Oh, Alan Guinness.
Alec
Guinness.
Yes,
sorry.
Sir. Some respect.
Thank you so much. Yes, His Majesty.
Yeah. And then Yoda, and then in between them, that was the older actor that played Anakin when he took the helmet off.
Right.
And that was the thing. At first, people were arguing, well, that's when Anakin turned to the dark side. That's what he looked like. So therefore, that's what he looked like in the Force. But that doesn't make any sense because he came back to the light side. And that, I mean, being able to do that doesn't necessarily just come with the light side of the Force.
Yeah.
So that doesn't make any sense.
Did Sith Lords come back as ghosts as well?
I guess they can. I don't know.
Well,
I mean, because Qui-Gon is the one that learned how to do that.
Ah.
Qui-Gon actually talked to
Obi-Wan.
He talked to Anakin on a couple different occasions.
Ah.
And he taught at the end of Revenge of the Sith.
Mm-hmm.
Yoda tells him to go to Tatooine, and he tells him that Qui-Gon would join him, and he's learned how to come back, and he'll teach you.
Whoa!
So that sets up that Obi-Wan's able to do it in Empire.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Damn, I gotta see these movies.
I've seen them way too many times.
You know what I found the other day? I have the limited edition Taco Bell posters because I used to eat Taco Bell every day when I was in high school. So
of course, everybody did that when they were in high school.
Good times. So we'll see what capacity Hayden Christensen comes in.
Yeah.
Right, because he obviously cannot be a character. It'll have to be some. There's going to be some flashbacks.
It'll have to be a flashback. It'll have to be.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully it'll be a very short flashback.
Yeah.
Can't act his way out of a paper bag.
Oh,
but anyway, in the Flash season 1 DVD and Blu-ray set that just released, in the commentary for the pilot, we learned a couple things.
Yeah.
Grodd was almost cut from the pilot twice. They actually it was. I don't remember who it was cut it the first time, and they put it back in. And then
was that just the ripped open cage,
yes,
or was that when they see him?
Just the ripped open cage.
Okay.
And then the studio, when they saw it, I guess they did a re-edit. They cut it out and they put it back in again. And I don't know why. I mean, I don't know why you would cut it out. It was just a cool, if for nothing else, just to make the comic book nerds just
even if it's a Ferris Air.
Yeah, exactly. It never pays off. It's something that just kind of
or Gardner Fox Street. You know, like if that popped in.
It gives you a little tweak. Yeah. And this was kind of cool because this is the Mist is a villain that we've seen in our multiverse segment.
Yeah.
He was originally going to be the villain in the pilot.
The Mist?
Yeah, instead of Weather Wizard.
Okay.
But they needed somebody that had a brother, and the Mist doesn't have a brother to come back and
try to break him out.
Exactly.
Yep.
So that's why they changed it. And there was also a deleted scene that hints at Aquaman because
what was this?
Barry is obsessed with even before the explosion, particle accelerator explosion. He's obsessed with finding people that can do extraordinary things because one of them, he believes that somebody that can do extraordinary things killed his mother.
So he's trying to
he almost like an X-Files. He's following every weird report.
Yeah.
And he had been gone somewhere, and he gets to a crime scene late. Joe's giving him down the road, and he says, that he had been somewhere checking on something, and it actually, it did turn out to be something. And he said, well, what about that time you went somewhere because somebody said that they saw a guy who could talk to fish. So there's your little nod to Aquaman there.
Oh man!
And
All
also the fact that, okay, if he's doing that, maybe he does have connection with other people that could end up being
connected to my
superheroes.
mom's murder.
Yeah,
right. Of some sort.
If he's doing that, then you could introduce other characters that would be superheroes.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
Yeah, that was a little deleted scene in
they
the
really
pilot.
tried to go for it in the beginning.
And Stephen Amell tweeted a picture of both him and Grant Gustin in formal wear. They're shooting, and he actually said, the caption said, "Game-changing scenes are fun."
Oh.
So they're they're in formal wear. So it's either you'd figure wedding or a funeral or something.
Wow.
But it would get the both of them there.
Wow.
So
yeah,
I
what would
wonder.
get the both of them there?
Yeah.
Somebody big has to die.
Yeah, or
that Barry would be connected to as
or
well.
Or maybe getting married.
Ah.
It could have been, and
Well,
Stephen Amell wasn't in a tux.
Was he? Did he have white on at all? Because the groom would wear a different color than the groomsman.
No,
Were they in tuxedos?
No. It was just like suits, like you would if you were a visitor to a wedding or a funeral.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So it wasn't like they were involved in it. So
maybe it's Carol Ferris and Green Lantern.
Maybe.
Or,
yeah, but why would they be there?
Yeah, I guess
they don't even know him.
Yeah, they don't really know him, right? Because a random pilot.
Yeah, a random pilot. So yeah, so that is coming this year. So hopefully we'll see what that is. Probably pretty soon. I don't know where they're at in shooting yet on either of the shows. I know they're probably about halfway through.
Well, they premiere pretty soon. So
yeah.
Yeah.
And Sebastian Stan, who plays Winter Soldier played it in the movie Winter Soldier and in New Civil War, he says that there's a lot more that Winter Soldier has a lot more to say this time. So because the last time he had like maybe 4 lines of dialogue.
Cap's going to get killed. He's going to be Cap.
Could be, or it could be Falcon. I mean, they could go either way there. But he does say there's more to him this time than just the brooding assassin popsicle.
I think it would be cool if they kill Cap midway or early on, right? But then Falcon and he sort of fight or struggle over the mantle. Yeah, like who's going to do it? You know, sort of thing.
Yeah,
I think that'd be really fantastic.
Yeah, and like the last scene is them putting on the suit and taking it up. So that'd be cool.
Sebastian Stan was Cap. I don't think I'd
have a problem with it. Yeah,
he was awesome in Winter Soldier.
Yeah. So, all right, well, that's a look at our movie and TV news, and we're going to take a break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to take a spin of the comic rack.
Our hailing frequencies are always open. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Just search Ninja Troll Digicast or drop us an email at ninjatroll@digitaltuxedo.com.
Hey guys, let's play some video games.
This new dad plays video games with his sons, but the challenge feels like he's lifting a metric ton.
So many buttons.
His avatar just stares at the walls, twists and turns and somehow falls.
Help me!
He's tangled up in the controller's cords.
I just don't understand this crazy digital world.
Crazy, crazy digital world. Zeros and ones. But the love from his kids is totally apparent. Ooh. See, you don't have to be perfect to be the perfect parent.
You should have just played catch.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of siblings in foster care will take you just as you are. For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Andy Smith. I've worked on Thanos with Jim Starlin and Earth 2 for DC Comics. And you're listening to the Ninja Troll Digicast, the only podcast with a kick.
All right. Welcome back to the Ninja Troll Digicast. Something I forgot to mention at the top of the show. This past Saturday, I was at CatsyCon in Morganton at the Cats Gallery, Cats Art Collective Gallery up in Morganton. We had an awesome time. It was a great day. It wasn't like your standard run of the mill comic convention. It was actually more of like a comic art show.
Awesome.
So I was there with my artwork, Kapow comic art, and it was there. There was a couple painters. There was a couple really great artists that were. I mean, it was a bunch of cosplay artists. It's a really cool thing. It was really Morganton has a very cool art vibe to the town.
Yeah,
it's like a mountain town, but it's a cool place. They've got the gallery is awesome. There's a lot of they have because it's a collective. They have a lot of members, and their artwork was all around there. So there's a lot of incredible artists up there, and then to be there with comic artists, it was really, really cool. It was the Matari Bain, I believe is his name. He was a painter. He actually had a painting that I remember from HeroesCon, seeing on the floor at HeroesCon.
Eyes, right?
Yeah,
was it the Hulk eyes?
It was the Hulk eyes, yes.
Yeah.
When I went home, I went to look him up on Facebook, and I started scrolling down his page, and he had a picture of that painting when he sold it. And I was like, hey, I remember that from HeroesCon.
Right,
so
it was intense.
It's a very intense painting. Yeah, it was just close up just on the Hulk's eyes.
Nice.
So like when I went home and looked it up on Facebook, I remember seeing that on the floor at HeroesCon. So,
but you met some interesting folks, and you sold a couple pieces too.
I did sell a couple pieces. And I don't know if you saw the piece that was posted on our Facebook page. The one of the guys that I sold the
was he the one who was naming his son Richard Grayson?
He was naming his son Richard Grayson. So he really needed this piece that I had done with. It was a Batman issue that had Nightwing and Robin in it.
Yeah.
And so he took that for his future son. It was Bobby McMahon. He got that piece from me, and then he posted on our page some artwork he did of Nico, our Ninja Troll.
Get out!
Yes, it looks
awesome.
It's on our Facebook page, so you can go and look at it. And this
is wild!
I just love it. I absolutely
got
love
the
it.
Splatter going on and everything. Nice.
Yeah,
he's got a pretty good capture of Nico.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he totally did. Yeah, and he had a lot of stuff there, and we were able to us as artists were able to leave stuff because she was doing a couple week long, basically a show.
Oh, so you got an art show out of this too, Tim?
Yeah, so we left. We left pieces there with her, and she was like, "I really like this stuff, so I'm gonna leave it up for," because she had originally told us for like a week, and she's like, "I really like this stuff, so I'm gonna leave it up for a couple weeks at least."
Well, that means then that was a hit.
Absolutely.
CatssyCon was a hit.
Yeah, and the place has only been open for like 6 months, so I mean to have this kind of thing go on with only being open that long and never having anything like that in Morganton. I actually had a couple people say to me that came in and said, we never have stuff like this in Morganton. And they were really excited about it. So I think it was definitely a rousing success, and they were very happy with it. All the vendors were happy. So
amazing. So you go again next year, maybe?
Yep, absolutely. I'll be back there next year. So it was a lot of fun. So I just want to mention that and give a shout out to everybody I saw there. There was a medieval Batman.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he did, and he's a science fiction author, and he has a book that he promotes as well. But he cosplays Batman all the time. He was medieval Batman that day.
Wow.
But I've seen pictures of him as the 1989 Tim Burton, Michael Keaton Batman.
Oh.
And he looks Dad. Yeah, he looks awesome. He looks really, really awesome. And he had people with him that we saw at Charlotte Comic-Con that they're actually characters from his book. Oh. They cosplay as characters from his book. And I didn't realize that when I first saw him at Comic-Con. But
now you know the context.
Now I know, exactly, yeah.
So it's brilliant.
Yeah. And a lady that was the Evil Queen of Hearts at Charlotte Comic-Con, she won second in the cosplay contest. She was there. She was Poison Ivy. Actually, she was Poison Ivy for most of the day. And then for the second half of the day, she was a female crewman from Star Trek.
Oh,
she went and
nice.
changed clothes and came back, and I was like, oh,
Classic
hey.
Star Trek?
Yes. Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Is she a red shirt or?
Yep. Red shirt.
Red shirt.
Yep. Yeah. So
poor her.
poor thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
but yeah, it was, and she was actually at the table right next to us. So yeah, it was a lot of fun, and there was a guy from the Star Trek Independent Fleet. He had
This is a cosplay.
This is a cosplay. The
version
dude
from
was
Star Trek?
in Star Trek II: Wrath of Khan era, the best Star Trek uniform there is.
Awesome.
He was upstairs, and like we were setting up the table, and I kind of glanced upstairs, and I saw him stand up from his table, and I saw his uniform. I was like, I gotta go talk to that guy.
So he the red shirt, black
red
pants,
sh-
with the tearaway magnetic
exactly.
thing.
Yep.
Awesome. And the little
Yep.
ribbed
The
turtleneck.
The turtleneck. Yeah. And, yeah.
Oh man.
And he
Yeah,
said
that's
that,
the best one.
Yeah, and he said this does not breathe very well, so it's a little stuffy.
That's why they always rip it open.
That's why they pull it open. Yeah, exactly.
Well, and the blood looks good on the
But
white.
yeah, that's the bloody handprint on the. But yeah, that as soon as I saw him, I was like, I gotta go talk to that guy. 'Cause,
Yeah, he knows what's up.
Yeah, that's really cool. So, but yeah, we
Well,
had a
awesome,
lot
Tim.
of fun up there. It was a really cool thing. Hopefully, when they have it next year, you can go.
Yeah, well, we had a family event, and of course, it's unmovable, but
Exactly. Yeah.
it sounded like you had a pretty damn
Yeah.
good time yourself.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So really looking forward to go back up there to the Cats Gallery in Morganton. So
Cool.
But now let's take a spin of the comic rack.
Meanwhile, back at the Cathedral of Wisdom, it's time for the comic rack. Hey, nice rack.
Knock it off, perv.
No, it's the latest news from the enormous world of comics. Right here on the Ninja Troll Digicast.
All right, first thing in the comic rack, Spawn number 258, which was originally, I mean, it has been in solicitations for a while now, but it was originally announced as having, it was being written by Paul Jenkins and with art by John Boy, which I don't think the guy on the radio, but but now it's being changed. It's going to be written by Todd McFarlane, and will have art by Eric Larson.
The Savage Dragon creator.
Yep.
All right.
I'll be picking that one up.
That's image-tastic right there.
I will be picking that up.
I want a foil cover.
I probably will have one. Savage Dragon and Spawn are actually the only two original Image comic lines that are still.
That's why they're in
running.
such high numbers, right?
Yep.
But they're
Yeah,
still volume 1, right?
They're still volume 1, and,
Yeah.
and those two are now the longest running, not just Image, but they are some of the longest running comics out there now.
I mean, they gotta be almost 20 years old.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like 92 when Image first started.
Burst on the scene. Yeah.
So, I mean, DC and Marvel can't stop rebooting.
Yeah.
So they're the longest running thing going.
Well, they're not rebooting Invincible, right? It's just going to be the story's going to kind of.
And it just did. I've just read where the end of
went
the
back?
he fought. He's on some planet looking for a guy from his home planet. It's hard to pronounce. It's Viltrumite or something like that.
Viltrumite.
Yeah, it's a weird word. It's hard for me to pronounce, and I have no idea because you're just reading it. There's no way to know if you're right or not. So,
yeah.
But they're looking for the leader of that race, who's now found a way to basically crank out a lot of babies to create his own army
Of
like
supers.
yeah.
Oh wow.
He finds a species that has a very short lifespan, but mixed with the Viltrumite blood, you have then a superpowered being who grows into maturity in about a week and a half.
Oh, but dies quickly.
No, that's the thing. They're basically immortal.
Oh, because the
So they
superpowers
probably
take
will
over.
eventually die, but a long way away.
Whoa.
So he's able to crank out this army like week and a half.
So he's got grow a henchmen's and
Exactly.
little pill capsules.
Just add water. So, but yeah, they're going to Mark and his brother are going to find them, and he goes to look in some kind of cavern, and he can hear people yelling, "No, they just said don't go down there." And all of a sudden, he's being pulled down, and he sees some kind of creature made out of light that actually reaches out and grabs him, and all of a sudden, boom, he's 17 years old, and this is one of the craziest moments of the comic. He's 17 years old, sitting on the crapper, reading a comic book. So he's right back, and his mom's knocking on the door. Come on, you got to hurry. You got to go to school. And he's like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, poop at
that's
school.
the end. That's the end of it.
Oh.
So the next one we'll see what's happening and how is this a dream? Is it some kind of, because if this creature is grabbing him somehow, it reads his mind and makes him believe
how
he's
did he
there.
Get there? Oh, right. Is he being held there?
Yeah.
And
it makes him in his mind. Maybe it's an illusion in his mind that he is back where he's 17 years old. But it seems like he had that explains how it doesn't explain it, but it was always said he'll know what's going on, but nobody else does. So he's just if it is going on in his mind, that it will explain that. So it's an awesome comic.
Interesting.
So,
So it can go in any direction.
And I absolutely trust Robert Kirkman entirely. So you just you do what you do, and I'll just read. I'll be along for the ride. So, but yeah, I just read that one. So
nice. So we'll see if this makes it to the top 10, right? Another Image comic.
Oh, I bet you it will. Because there'll be enough people. Yeah, I mean, because Todd McFarlane's always been in some way or another been part of Spawn.
Yeah,
he started off as the writer, and then for a while went to the artist, or vice versa. I don't remember.
And somebody else wrote it.
But then for a while he just did the covers. But in some way or another, he's always been. I mean, because this is his creation.
Yeah.
So he's
movie.
always been part of it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And the animated show.
Right, the animated show and the toys were insane.
Yeah. But so he's always been part of it. But Eric Larson, still to this day, writes and draws Savage Dragon.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's how you do it.
Yeah.
That's how you got
absolutely.
one. You love it. You don't jump to 10 things.
Yeah. Yeah. He created it, 20 years ago, and he's still, he's cranking them out.
That's
so.
right.
But that'll be interesting to see when that comes. Like you said, I didn't even thought about that, but maybe see if that will crack another top 10. That would be pretty cool. So, Titan Comics has also announced the third part of the Snowpiercer series with Snowpiercer 3 Terminus. And the first part was made into. I didn't watch the movie, but I remember when it came out. First part was adapted in 2014 to the Snowpiercer movie, starring Chris Evans, who was Captain America.
Yeah.
Like I said, I remember hearing about the movie, but I didn't actually see it. So it's the cover that they released with it is creepy as hell. It's like people in like mouse mask. So yeah, it was kind of creepy. So it'll be interesting to see if there's another Snowpiercer movie planned and whether they're going to follow the series with movies.
I think I've seen this on. It's on one of the streaming services now. It's come up, and I was like, "Oh, it looks interesting."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I remember hearing about it, especially because Chris Evans is in it.
Right.
But yeah, I just never have sat down and watched it. So
I thought maybe it was like a post-apocalyptic Polar Express, but it didn't turn out to be that way.
That's something you don't hear every day.
Santa's a crime boss.
That's right.
Who sells ice and not the frozen water.
That's right.
The dog, the bounty hunter ice.
That's right. Bruh. Last week we talked about the canceled series that DC are giving the axe to in December.
But they threw one of them in the Lazarus pit.
And they did and brought it back. And as actually, coincidentally, it's one that I was saying that I don't think that they had given a full chance to.
And because they listened to the show.
They listened to the show and they said, you know what? That guy has got a hell of an idea.
He'd buy it for $1. So let's.
I would buy it for $1.
Let's keep him.
I wish I could buy it for $1.
Yeah, right.
Comics are way more expensive than that. But Omega Men, and actually Omega Men was set for 12 issues.
Oh,
so it was
already a limited
series.
Run. Yeah,
and they were gonna cancel it at 7, and then enough people said, "Hey, you're only doing 12 issues. Give us the whole thing."
Yeah,
and so they did that. And actually, if you
there's the classic,
the original series. If you click on that upper left one,
who is that? Lobo.
That is Lobo. First appearance of Lobo was in Omega Men number 3.
It looks like Metamorpho's wearing a Lobo mask.
Yeah, exactly.
With the body. I mean, it looks just like it.
Yep. Yeah, that was the first appearance of Lobo. Was that Mega Man number
Wow.
1? I didn't think that
Yeah,
was.
Mega Man number 1. I don't know what year this is.
I didn't think it was a number 1 that he debuted in.
That's interesting.
But yeah, he that's where Lobo was introduced. Was in the Mega Man, and so yeah, it was set for 12 anyway. They were going to stop at 7.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, it's only 5 more issues. They're probably already written.
Why wouldn't
go
you
ahead.
finish it? Yeah, right.
Yeah, just go
it's already
ahead.
Done.
So,
Why would you? Yeah.
So yay, internet. People, I know people complain to get them to do that. So.
But the other artist who I learned of while I was at the Alexis Siri September 16th Heroes signing is Toby Cypress. He worked on, I think, issue number like a few of them. Yeah.
Of a Mega Man?
Yeah, of a Mega Man.
Okay.
Yeah. And his artwork is incredible. I was kind of blown away. Like, damn, like this guy's really good.
Yeah.
And if it's like it's crazy painterly, and he does a lot of great effects. But yeah, he was involved in that one. So I'm happy to hear, right, that the title's been resurrected. I am still unhappy that Batman 66 is on the chopping block.
Well, I mean, you actually said that they were starting to kind of.
They're fizzling out.
Yeah, they're fizzling out. So.
And Louis the Lilac made an appearance in the Poison Ivy one.
I love Louis the Lilac
because it turns
Milton
out
Boyle.
Yeah. It turns out that Pamela Isley was supplying Louis the Lilac with all his stuff for years.
Okay.
Until he double crossed her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So don't double cross Pamela.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I gotta get back to my list. I was looking at other stuff.
Spider-Man 2099 is apparently set in our time now. I'm gonna pretend to be Timmy D here.
Yeah. Yeah. Spider-Man 2099 is apparently set in our time now. That's Echo.
That's a bad impression of me.
I know. And he has a new costume, which looks really cool.
Cool.
And he has the reason I mean, they are not specifically saying that it's set in our time, but he has a job at Parker Industries.
Oh.
So I'm figuring that's the case. But it's his new costume. It's
is it with the white?
It's white. Yeah. It has because it used to be really dark.
Right.
But now he's got more white in it. And obviously, I figure if he's in our time, yeah, there it is. It's got a little more white on the head. Is almost like Spider-Gwen. The mask is white.
Yeah. He looks like a luchador now.
He does, yeah.
Yeah. Because isn't 2099 Spider-Man Latino?
Yes. Well,
is it Miles Morales?
That's Ultimate Spider-Man. It's Miguel O'Hara.
Miguel O'Hara.
So it's Latino Irish.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know.
Dominican Irish. Yeah. I went to an Irish bar in the Dominican Republic called Jose O'Shea's.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
And they had the Guinness Arita, which was disgusting.
I'm sure it was.
Yeah, those are not flavors that should mix.
Yeah.
This is a cool costume.
But yeah, it looks really cool, and he had been in our time, so I wasn't sure what they were going to do coming out of Spider-Verse, whether he was going to be sent back to 2099 or not. So it seems like he's staying here, and obviously Peter's helping him out if he's working at Parker Industries.
I bet internet speeds must frustrate him to no end.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah. I'm sure. So, we got to look at the team that Sunspot is putting together for New Avengers #1. Is what we were talking about with. There's so many different versions of the Avengers. The new Avengers will be. Oh, you're gonna love this. Squirrel Girl.
Yes.
Hawkeye, which is the new Hawkeye.
The female.
The daughter of Clint Barton.
Clint Barton. Yep.
Wiccan, which I don't know at all.
Yeah. X character. Yeah. Go ahead.
Hulkling.
Who's the boy Hulk? Or no, is it from the planet?
Hulkling is I believe at first.
How did that come to be?
I was thinking it was the Teen Abomination, but that's not right. It's he was introduced in the Young Avengers. Young Avengers #1. His name's Teddy Altman. So he has shape-shifting abilities that go far beyond the ability to mimic the Hulk and superhuman strength. But he patterns himself after the Hulk. So, but yeah, I'd never heard of him before. There's a Teen Abomination that was actually part of the Superior Iron Man series. Really? He was hanging out with Tony, trying to get Tony to help him.
Oh. Was he smart? Because I know Abomination's
Yes,
usually dummy.
yes, he was smart. Yeah, yeah. Well, Abomination is more of just pure rage.
Yeah.
Instead of, I mean, he's not really dumb. He's just
aggressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, really aggressive. So, but okay, Wiccan, Hulkling, Songbird, which also I don't know.
Yeah.
Pod Power Man. I don't know what that is. And White Tiger, or maybe I might have typed that wrong because I remember it being Power Man.
Well, Power Man would be Luke Cage, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. I don't know where the pod came from, but I think it is Power Man and White Tiger as well.
It's
and
not Digicast Man.
No, that would be awesome.
We got to trademark that Digicast Man.
And AIM is no longer Advanced Idea Mechanics, which is it used to be the old villain organization.
Yeah, well,
called AIM.
Who was it?
They had like
the leader of it was that big guy with the big face.
Leader.
Oh right,
that was his name.
Leader. Yeah.
He had the big head.
MODOK. I'm thinking of.
Oh no, okay, that's right. Yeah. Yes,
while,
that's right. Yeah. MODOK did run it, and then he was MODOK
the floating face and
hell. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a little body.
Yeah.
But now it stands for Avengers Idea Mechanics.
Wow.
So I don't know. It's like we were saying. There's a load of Avengers series now. They're canny and uncanny and new and not so
they
new.
Did
and A-Force and
instead of uncanny.
No, it's uncanny. Uncanny Avengers. See, that was my attempt at humor. It failed. And this is I think probably one of the biggest stories that come out. Marvel Comics has announced that Todd, I'm probably going to butcher his name, Ta-Nehisi Coates, who is an African-American writer and journalist for The Atlantic and a well-regarded voice on African-American political and social issues, will be writing the new Black Panther series in October.
Awesome.
And the artist will be one of our favorites, Brian Stelfreeze.
Amazing.
Absolutely.
Wow.
That's a hell of a team right there.
Wow.
To be
Brian
working on Black
Stelfreeze is
Panther.
African American.
Yep.
So you're going to have an all African American crew creating the Black Panther story.
Yep.
The new reboot Black
and
Panther.
Stelfreeze, his artwork is just
T'Challa's going to be.
It's going to be
all
awesome.
The kicks are going to be great. All the fighting's going to be amazing.
It's going to be off.
I did see like a quick sort of promo for the upcoming Black Panther where he's like pulling the hood down. It was illustrated.
Oh yeah.
And it looked beautiful.
Yeah, that was probably
it was Stelfreeze.
Stelfreeze's work. Yeah.
Oh man,
it was
great.
It's one of the nicest dudes you're ever going to want to meet.
Yeah, right. You and Chuck got to talk to him.
Yeah, we actually interviewed him at
Minicon.
At Minicon last year, and yeah, he was an awesome guy. He did an interview with us, what we called a signature series, where he signed a couple like a stack
Shadow
of books.
of the Bats, right? All
Chuck Batman,
Charles's.
Shadow of the Bat, and he kind of like as he was signing, he talked about each individual cover, and he had so much information about each one. He remembers drawing each one and like what he was thinking about, and the best one was the Batman #0, because he said there was the reason that was his favorite was there was no instructions, there was no hey we need him to be like in trouble with the Scarecrow or anything like this. Is that his instruction for that cover was draw the coolest Batman you can, and he was just like, awesome.
All right, I want to see this real quick. So Batman
#0.
New 52?
No.
Or when was this?
This was in the olden times, the 90s.
Yeah, 1,000 years ago, the 90s.
Yeah, that's it right there. It's
this is the one
Batman
right
on a like a sewer grate with light coming up through it.
And you said that his buddy stood on a piece of
he
plexi,
had his
right,
he talked about his model who had to he knew the pose he wanted. So what he did was he got a piece of plexiglass and had his model crouch on that so he could sketch that. And it was freaking his model out because, he's on plexiglass, so it looks like he's floating in the air. Yeah. So it was like freaking him out.
And plexi's not strong.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's just acrylic. I mean,
he drew the shadow. It was Shadow of the Bat #0 actually, and the shadow that's being cast by the light that's coming through the grate.
Yeah.
If you look, mimics the logo, the Shadow of the Bat logo that he always drew around the title.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, it was a really cool interview, and it was a lot of fun. It was actually I need to get that interview and post it on YouTube so that we can get that out there and get
for
people.
our signature
Yeah,
series.
exactly.
Our
because that was a great interview. It was nicest guy you ever want to meet, and he at Free Comic Book Day he was there doing at Heroes Aren't Hard to Find in Charlotte. He was doing free sketches. They had a bunch of artists there doing sketches.
Free sketches from Brian Stelfreeze?
Exactly, but because he doesn't just do a sketch, he does you a masterpiece.
Awesome.
So the line was crazy for him. It was way backed up,
Oh,
but it would be
man.
worth it. It would absolutely be worth it.
Totally.
Yeah. So
An original from that guy?
yeah, exactly. So and he doesn't just like, oh, let me just whip this out real quick and throw it back at you. No, he does. He goes all out and does a beautiful piece every time.
That's awesome.
So yeah. But that is a spin of the comic rack. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to explore the multiverse.
How to be a great dad in 15 seconds. Bike ride, go fish, walk in the park, phone call, milkshake, play catch, picnic, fly a kite, tell jokes, laugh, talk, read a story, tell a story, bumper car, swing set, bowling, pillow fight, cut loose, stay tight. Whew. Because the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
This is the reclusive one, better known as Michael Golden, the guy who co-created Rogue, The Nom, Micronauts, Bucky O'Hare, Spartan X, and many, many more. You are listening to the Ninja Troll Digicast. Pay attention!
Just like he said, pay attention. Wake up. No, you can't sleep through the Ninja Troll Digicast. So, welcome back. Again, I am Tim Dixon here with Mike Worth. And now it's time to set our sights for the Misty Borderland Cafe, sit down, have a coffee, and explore the multiverse.
Now it's time to explore the multiverse. On the Ninja Troll Digicast.
All right, this is our ongoing series called Exploring the Multiverse, where we take an in-depth look at the DC multiverse, starting from the first instance with the Flash of Two Worlds, which introduced Earth 2, where the heroes of the Justice Society of America exist. Starting with Earth 1, which is the home of the Silver Age Justice League.
Right.
Then we introduced the Earth 2, and we've introduced Earth 3 with the Crime Syndicate. We've introduced Earth S, X, the Antimatter Universe, the Negative. Did we do the Negative Zone?
We did Negative Universe.
Yes.
And then I think now, right, we're looking at a brand new Earth. We haven't seen an Earth in a while.
Yeah, we haven't actually introduced a new Earth in a while. So now this is the first time we've included a new Earth, and this is actually Earth Prime,
right?
Which we are on now in the DC
We
multiverse. In the DC multiverse, Earth Prime. Originally, it's changed now what they call Earth Prime, but in pre-Crisis, in the DC multiverse, Earth Prime was the real world. That's where Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman were all in comic books.
Right.
So that was the world where DC Comics existed.
Right.
So that's that's actually where we're visiting this week.
And we have a biggie here.
Yeah, this
Lord.
one's huge.
This is a 5-issue crossover story.
Yeah.
And this is the first one we're seeing where the Justice League this Crisis story goes into another book. And it's All-Star Squadron, which I'd never read, but
I haven't either. No, that's
but it was a way to bring in that other team, All-Star Squadron heroes, into the mix, which was really cool. And our big baddie this time is somebody named Per Degaton.
Per Degaton, which I have never heard of him.
He doesn't have an ultra humanite catchphrase or a Grundy type thing.
But it's still fun to say. Per Degaton.
Yeah. Everybody's ultra humanite.
Exactly.
We do see also the Crime Syndicate come back in this one.
Yeah.
So the Crime Syndicate gets out of their Misty Borderland
I love
prison.
that they go back to that.
Right.
And the signs are still there that say, don't mess with these guys. Because I don't remember which issues it was that where they defeated the crime syndicate and they imprisoned them in a like a little bubble, and they put signs all over it. So
like every language.
In every language that everybody, so everybody would know not to mess with, not to release them.
Right.
But of course, Paradegaton, he's not following any sign.
Nah.
He looks at him and
stepping over that.
He liked the cut of their jib, so he said, "I'm going to let you out."
Yeah. But so what we're going to do this time is, because this story is so huge, and it's actually a really good story. It has a Pulp Fiction feel because there's like a lot of
there's different pieces in different times, and
right.
Yeah,
and it folds back onto itself. Like we actually get to see this the same story, same event happen from two sides across two issues, which is really cool. But we did mention too that we have not seen a New Earth in a good while.
Yeah.
And doing some research, I found out that there were sort of other stories where DC tried this multiverse crossover stuff, but didn't do the sort of traditional crossover with the two teams, but really just did it with some heroes or sometimes team-ups between heroes. So as we get closer to Crisis on Infinite Earths, we're going to feature a couple of these extra Earths that were in the mix, so to speak, but we're not in that big JSA crossover world, which we've seen so far. But roughly in this time, just to sort of bring us up to speed from our Kirby exploration, we're looking at an Earth called Earth 14, and this is sort of the home where all the pre-crisis, non-Kirby Fourth World tales take place, right, according to Mark Evaniers' speculation in the text of the New Gods, which was in the reprint of that, sort of saying, well, here's where this came from, here's what's going on. And that was in first issue special number 13, April 1976. So here we have another named Earth that wasn't called it so much when it came out.
Yeah.
But because DC needs to Earth everything that's around,
they do. Yep.
No loose particles here or there.
Every story they published had to have its own Earth.
Indeed, yeah. We also then, 1976 January, we had what was probably one of the most epic moments in comics history, was a crossover between DC and Marvel.
Oh, yeah.
And it created Earth crossover, as they call it.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. That was Superman versus the Amazing Spider-Man, January 1976. Yep. So that was pretty cool. Then we have a really interesting Earth. This is Earth 5. This came out in March of '81, so roughly in this time frame. This was in Detective Comics 500. So, okay, right, boom, we're sort of jumping to this whole new place. Yeah. And I guess at the time, I mean, if you were able to sort of follow these Earths and be conscious of that, you were knowing to look in these books. You were dedicated enough. You didn't need a gimmick to jump, right, from one to the other. But in this one, the Phantom Stranger takes Bruce Wayne to a universe where there's no Krypton and no superheroes, and the Earth 1 Batman prevents the murders of the Earth 5 versions of his parents, and then he has to inspire the young Bruce Wayne to grow up and become Batman.
Yeah.
And we saw a picture of him and Robin in the tree watching Bruce Wayne at Wayne Manor.
The Earth 5 Bruce Wayne was a little jerk face.
He was. He didn't eat his vegetables.
Yeah. He was a pill.
We're gonna have to batarang that kid.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess, I mean, that's the murder of his parents is something that focused him.
Totally.
So, yeah, without that, and it seems crazy to say, but yeah, without that.
He's Richie Rich.
Yeah, exactly.
He's Brucey Rich.
Yeah, he's Brucey Rich, yeah.
That's right. And then two less, I guess what you would call serious Earths. Are Earth C and C-, which came out February of '82 in the New Teen Titans 16. And then this title, which I'm sorry got canceled, Captain Carrot and His Amazing Zoo Crew.
Horrible.
Number 14, which I'm surprised made to 14 issues.
I know.
From '83.
Horrible.
And this had all of the DC's anthropomorphic characters. So Captain Carrot.
It was a whole, like a Justice League of cartoon
of the Looney Tunes gang.
Yeah, basically Looney Tunes gang. Yeah.
So anyway, I wanted to sort of get us to this place where we have these pre-crises Earths.
Yeah.
There are a couple going way back in time, but we're in the Bronze Age. I didn't want to sort of go back to Silver Age. What we are going to have pretty soon, before we do a Crisis episode, is we're going to have a recap.
Yeah.
And I think then, we'll maybe try and chart this up a little better. I'm gonna get rocking on that, just so you all have a visual reference of what's happening.
Lord, you need it. If there's any place where you need a scorecard, That's what you need.
Totally, right. It's
keep
like,
up with all this stuff.
find your Earth and
Yeah.
you'll be good. All right, so let's jump into this one. This is JLA 207, and this is a really cool story. Like we said, we have Per Degaton. There's time travel. There's a new Earth. There's all this great stuff going on. So we start off with the annual meetup, okay? And everybody's getting excited. Oh, my God, annual meetup time.
The interior art is done by Don Heck, but the covers, if you notice, the covers are done by George Perez still.
Yeah, well, he's killing it, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess probably because Teen Titans is starting to really pick up and do well, they might have pulled him from the JLA book as being the primary artist.
Yeah.
He might have filled in when Dick Dillon had died.
Yeah.
Right, in the previous story. So they're about to do the transmatter cube transmission.
Yep.
And just like a good Star Trek episode, something's going to go wrong. And the crime syndicate shows up, and one group disappears.
Yeah.
And so the crime syndicate...
It was the Justice Society group.
Right, the Earth 2
disappeared,
heroes. So the crime syndicate escapes their borderland prison, and they take over the satellite, and they basically knock out the Earth 1 heroes. They kick their butts. And Owlman has to come up with a way get them down to Earth, right? Because he was like...
Yeah, they're in a satellite. They don't know,
Well, he said, last time they were in a cave on Earth. Now they're in space. So Owlman was like, listen, I was watching. I paid attention. We're going to take a ship to the planet's surface.
He's got the super brain.
He sure does. He really does. And that charming cowl.
Hey, I love that cow.
I can't wait to see your Halloween costume, by the way.
It's going to be Owlman. I am going to go as Owlman.
We should be the court of Owlman. We should just mash it up and be the court of Owlman from Earth 3. Yeah. And instead of Talon, I'll be Hangnail.
There you go.
That'll be my name. So that story happens, and we shift now, and then Power Girl and the Earth 2 heroes are now stuck in the Misty Borderlands.
Yeah, they're stuck in the little...
the bubble.
The bubble, yeah.
The Green Lantern bubble.
Yeah.
Which you can see the signs are all still there. Right?
Oh, yeah.
You
the
rightfully,
signs, of course,
and they're in every language, which is fantastic. But Dr. Fate and Starman are able to get them out because nobody in this crime syndicate had powers like them. There's no magicians and no cosmic rod holders.
Yes.
Nobody has the grip. And then, you can laugh. It's okay. We're adults.
Are you sure?
We're working on it. And then Alan Scott, who now really is starting to act like a Lantern Corps lantern. He's using his ring to scan the area for a tear in the space-time continuum because he sort of realizes, well, all right, we're here,
came through,
and this is what's going on.
Yeah.
And it's important to note that there's just like we had Flash of Two Worlds, there's a Green Lantern of Two Worlds similar story way back in early Silver Age, which explains why this is sort of going on.
Yeah.
All right. I know we're in the Borderlands, Timmy, and it's misty.
It's misty.
But let's stay awake, okay?
It's making me sleepy.
I know you haven't done the do today, so you're hanging in. So Green Lantern Alan Scott is saying, "Aha! I know that this is what's going on." So they find a portal. In fact, there has been a tear in the someone tore it, the space-time continuum. All right, and they cut the cosmic cheese. And now they enter the portal thinking what they're going to be entering is going to be Earth 1.
Yeah.
Okay, but they enter and it's da-da-da.
Yeah.
It's not anything at
Death
all.
and destruction everywhere.
Right, it's a holocausted world.
Yeah.
Right? Great panel, by the way, too.
Oh, yeah.
I love that.
Full-page panel of just nothing but them standing there staring at rubble in like a burning city.
Yeah.
Which I would be concerned about some kind of fallout.
Right.
Radiation.
Our safety. Yes.
Yes.
It doesn't exist. Green Lantern is incredibly intelligent here. He recognized this as Earth Prime.
Yeah.
And he knows full well that this is where we don't really exist, but we exist as comic book characters in a fictional way. So he's conscious of that. And again, the Lanterns they've had this in their backstory. He then, again, he's amazing today. He scans the rubble and finds a psychic pattern. And he identifies that to be the psychic pattern of Per Degaton. So he knows who's caused this and what's going on. And it's bad. It's indeed a crisis.
Yes.
Then the Earth 1 heroes, Superman, Firestorm, Zatanna, they sort of are like, oh man, they really kicked our butt.
Yeah, they got knocked out of the
satellite into space.
Yeah, they were into space, which is not a big deal for Superman, but for Zatanna, that is a big deal.
So apparently, just before it happened, she casts a spell, and you can see that to wrap herself in a protective bubble.
Yeah.
So she's sitting there floating in her own magic, unconscious. So they all get back, and then they use the transmatter cube to get to Earth 2. But when they do it, they don't go to Earth 2. They go back to 1942 on Earth Prime, and this time it is a World War II version, but instead of a Nazi regime, it's a per Degaton regime, right? You can see, they think that they're in the headquarters, right? Is it Earth 2 that they go to, or is it Earth?
That is Earth 2.
Prime? It is Earth 2.
Yeah, it's Earth 2, but it's Earth 2 in
the 40s.
No, it's 82. They're in their regular time, but they're on Earth 2 after Per Degaton has taken over.
Okay. I was confused by this because it's the Justice Society headquarters was abandoned.
It was abandoned in 42. That's when they show up. The calendar still says 42, January 42. But
they walk
it's
outside.
They walk outside, and it's October of 1982.
But everything still looks like it's from the 40s.
But yeah, everything looks like it's from the 80s because Per Degaton has taken over and kind of
kept it.
Yeah. Halted everything.
Right. And you look around, it's like
superheroes are outlawed.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, they're called the others.
Yeah.
And everybody in the society is like, you are dressed like the outside or the others, right? This lady is like,
freaking out,
please.
Yeah. Heavens.
It doesn't look like everybody's either a Dead Man fan or a Daredevil fan.
Yeah, Per Degaton has like a black outfit with a big D on the front, so he definitely looks like a cross of Daredevil and Dead Man.
Right.
Yeah.
But no, he's just a big D. But we realize, right, it's 1982. This is the contemporary time that the story has come out. One quick note is notice Zatanna is not quite in her sort of new uniform yet.
Yeah.
She's still going through uniform, evolution.
Changes, yeah.
Yeah, before she gets
But she's at the time, she's the chairman of the JLA.
Of the JLA, yeah. Which is quite interesting, not Superman. And and they say, oh my gosh, this is really 1982, so what are we going to do? Well, let's go back to 1942 and see what happened, because that was a great clue. Yeah. So they get there by Firestorm creating this super bubble that will protect them in the time stream, and then it's just Superman who flies fast
Superman
enough.
drives them to 1942.
Past all the years.
Yeah.
All the year signs.
I'm so glad that when they're traveling through time, they've got those convenient giant signs that say 1963, 1954, so that they know
mile markers.
They know when they arrive.
Exactly. Right. I haven't seen any rest stops though in the time stream. I wonder.
No.
Would it be like a Johnny Rockets type
That would
thing?
be, yeah.
So it'd be like timeless. That'd be good. So this is cool. This is where the flip story occurs.
Yeah.
So they arrive in 1942 back at the JSA headquarters, and they're kind of looking around. It looks like a brand new place, and all of a sudden they hear the doors about to open. Ha ha! And they're surprised.
The Justice Society. Wait,
it's not.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it's the All-Star Squadron.
It's the All-Star Squadron.
And that's where it drops, right?
Yeah.
And the issue ends. And then we then make the switch to the All-Star Squadron comic book. So, whoa, I have to go out and buy
this
thing.
is the first time, and it may not be the first time that they did it in comics, but this is the first time that we've run across something that's crossing over into another book.
Right. Not just a team visiting.
Not just
but we go to its book.
We go to its book to continue the story, and it actually says to be continued, but not in the next issue of Justice League.
Right.
In the next issue of All-Star Squadron.
So what that means is then, like politically, or I guess practically, the artists and the writers had to collaborate.
They had to collaborate and kind of hand over the story. Oh wow, the cover of the All-Star Squadron is Joe Kubert.
Yeah.
Wow.
Who's Joe Kubert?
Joe Kubert is a legendary name, and actually now he has two sons that are in the business. Adam and I forgot the other kid's name. But he was
a legacy.
He was a legend in the especially with war comics.
Mm-hmm. That was his thing. Because
That was
All-Star
his thing.
Squadron's a classic style
Yeah.
book, right? The heroes
Yeah.
are very retro.
Yeah, he was
He
he-
Sergeant Rock?
Sergeant Rock, Hawkman,
Oh,
Tarzan.
man.
Yeah, did a list of awards that are just crazy long.
He was on our Eisner list, wasn't he?
Yep.
Right? As an Eisner Award winner.
Yep. Yeah,
Oh,
he
man,
created
what a career.
Sergeant Rock. He worked on GI Combat, The Haunted Tank.
I heard of this. The Kubert
Kubert
School.
Yeah, he started the Kubert School.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, his sons are Adam and Andy and Adam Kubert.
Andy and Adam.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're
cool.
very successful comic book artists now.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So he's our cover artist
Mhm.
for this All-Star Squadron issue. So things change, right? We're sort of noticing
Yeah,
a
this
little
is
bit
a whole
of
different. This is a whole different crew. This
Yeah.
is a different creative team.
It's I forget his first name, but it's Jerry Ordway and
Adrian Gonzalez is
Adrian
the artist.
Gonzalez. Yeah.
And Roy Thomas was the writer.
Yeah.
Another famous name.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So
And actually, I just noticed plot consultant Jerry Conway.
it's coming
'cause he
over
was
from
doing-
JLA.
yeah, from JLA. Yeah.
So that's how you get this crossover stories to work successfully.
Yeah.
So we're in sort of a seemingly really randomly strange place because now the Earth 2 heroes and the All-Star Squadron are all hailing Degaton, right?
Yeah,
And
this is like a Coliseum thing, like a gladiator Coliseum.
and they're about to all
And-
rumble.
exactly, and there's it's the old gladiator salute. We who are about to die salute you.
Yeah.
And they're doing that to per Degaton.
That's not an AC/DC thing? Or this,
Well, yeah,
those are about
not
to
originally,
rock?
no.
Damn. Something.
Hate to say
Came
it,
up
but-
with it. So the heroes start battling in this Royal Rumble type thing, and they're kicking each other's butts. And this guy, Professor Z, he kind of screams out. I guess he's a helper of Degaton. He screams out, "No, you have to fight Degaton and not each other," right? And so Degaton kind of freaks out, and then he realizes it was a dream. He wakes up. Right, and Z is actually his lab assistant, or no, vice versa.
other way around. Yeah,
Right,
Per
Degaton is his lab
Yeah.
assistant, and who's a time machine inventor.
Yeah, Professor Z is trying to invent the time machine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's important because now that's going to sort of set up why Degaton has the whole society under his control. And he goes through, and essentially he's been beaten by the Justice Society in the past. A few times, but something has to do with his memory, where like he forgets something.
He forgets that they defeated him, because if he's going through time, like that would, if they defeat him, it's like wiped out. And I think he just has like
he forgets that he was successful at this thing, and everything he learns from the battle, he never, but he remembers this time because of the shock of this. He's like, oh, I'm so scared, so therefore I will remember. And he says, I won't make the same mistake 3 times.
Oh, of course not. Third time's a charm.
Yeah, villains always get that third chance. So, all right. So basically, he's taking the law in his own hands. He shoots Professor Z.
Not cool.
And then he travels now back in time to gather his weapons and technology, or ahead in time rather, weapons and technology to take over the world during World War II. So once he starts going through the time machine, now this is where he gets into the Earth Prime world, and he basically he realizes that he's on Earth Prime because like the newspaper stand guy, he runs up to a newspaper stand and he says, "Where are these heroes? Show me where these heroes are." And the guy was like, "Easy, fella. They're just comic books. Like, don't, come on. Like, just chill out. Okay, chill." And he sort of like goes, "Whoa, like this is so crazy. How can this sort of be?" Is shocked by this. He runs for the time machine and whisks away. And now he's traveling between worlds, and he discovers as he's sort of moving through time and space, he finds the crime syndicate where they are in this limbo space, which is all kind of funky and Kirby-like. And you like, what did you say? He likes their cut of
He
what?
likes the cut of their jib.
He
thinks they're because that's the thing. He kind of looks at them and is like, but I think I might want to let them out.
Yeah, right. Despite what these signs say, do not feed the heroes.
He actually says, whoever this crime syndicate may be, they sound like my kind of people.
they basically say, well, we want revenge on these heroes.
Yeah.
And Dagestan says, well, I can help you with that. So why don't we get you out of here and clean
Team
you
up.
up, and you can poop. I know it's been a while.
I'd never really thought about it till then. I was like, okay, they've trapped them in there. They have no food. They're just kind of floating there.
That's it. I mean, unless Green Lantern's like,
That's
someone's
not
like,
cool.
and he's like, oh, I'll get that. He's like, I've actually learned to help it recharge my ring. All right, we'll keep moving. No more fart jokes.
No promises.
So the part of the master plan now is that they're going to travel around Earth Prime to start to gather up the weapons and stuff and tech that they need. So Earth Prime is becoming this place that they can sort of glean technology and things. So they go to 1962, just as the Cuban Missile Crisis is unfolding, and we get to see a cameo by Castro, Nikita Khrushchev, and JFK.
And Kennedy, yeah.
Yeah, which is really wonderful. And so the plan here is to steal the missiles from the Russians before they make it to Cuba, and it kind of hurts the Cuban Missile Crisis overall.
That's what you find out later. That's what happened. That's why the Earth they arrived on is radioactive rubble.
Right.
Because those missiles got stolen. Kennedy
set it off.
Kennedy just thought, hey, what the hell? Let's just hit the button. So what?
Good times. And okay, so now this is where things get interesting. Things sort of halt in that world there, and then now flip completely around, right? So the plan's in action, all that great stuff's going on, but now we're now in a battle between a villain called Magnetic Marauder and the All-Star Squadron on Earth 2, and they're sort of fighting, tearing it up. You can see he took apart a whole building and all that great stuff and everything. And as this battle is going on, I believe they take care of Magnetic Marauder. They sort of bring him to justice. They go back to the headquarters, the All-Star Squadron, and jump ahead a page, and you'll see now this is where the reversal takes place. Keep going. One more.
Yeah, the end.
Yep, and then all of a sudden they're about to walk in, and then who is there but the recently reappeared Earth 1 team.
JLA, yeah.
Yeah, the JLA.
So you get the other end of, so this kind of catches you up with the two stories. The JLA JSA part was done in the first issue.
Right.
Now this one gets the All-Star Squadron in there, and like you said, it ends the same way the other one ends, but from another way.
From the complete opposite angle. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
To see that sort of unfold that way. And this is where we're actually gonna halt. And you see Per Degaton's face.
The next issue it's a beautiful George Perez cover. All the superheroes are attacking like a mushroom cloud, and Per Degaton's face is in the mushroom cloud, looking like a deranged clown.
I love it.
It's nuts. It's awesome.
So that's JLA 208 from November of that year.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to pick up next week, because we still have 3 more issues.
Yeah, there's a lot. I'm sure the meat of the story is still to come. So,
it's gonna get good. So this is where sort of things are. We're going to pick this up next time. We have 2 more Crises stories after this.
Okay.
But we're also going to talk about the other Earths, going back a little bit. So we're going to have some combo episodes where, like what Timmy always gives us sort of an up-to-date thing of all the Earths we've looked at. We're going to keep building that list.
Yeah, it's going to be a bigger list.
It's quite a bigger list. We've actually compiled a database here. We have at the Ninja Troll headquarters here, the Watchtower. And, we're going to go through... Yeah,
Cathedral of Wisdom. That's where
it is. We're in the catacombs.
That's right.
Next to our vintage wine. And we're going to go through and just sort of give you context for all these Earths, what order they showed up in, what comic book company they had come from, some of the silly ones, those sorts of things. But this is going to lead to, just before we get up to the Crisis on Infinite Earths episode, the kickoff, because that'll be a multi-parter. Yeah. We're going to do a crash, right, or a cram, right? We're going to sort of do a study session.
A review, yeah.
Exactly. Before the test, because there will be
a test.
Crisis test.
Oh, Lord.
At some point.
That would be cool.
So this is your bartender at the Misty Borderland Cafe here saying...
I'll be here all week.
We'll have
Tip your waitress.
Tip your waitress. 2-drink minimum.
That's right.
Where our martinis are shaken and not stirred.
All right. That's going to do it for the Explore the Multiverse segment. We're going to take a break, and we're going to come back and have part 2 of our Robin Showcase.
Our hailing frequencies are always open. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Just search Ninja Troll Digicast or drop us an email at ninjatroll@digitaltuxedo.com.
So, I'm a dog, and I'm kind of new to this family, but I've noticed a trend. My humans do this thing where they go around and get all my toys and hide them in this basket. But it's always the same basket, and it's always the same place. And then they act so surprised when I find them. But I'm like, hello? That's where you put it last time. Humans are the worst at hide and go seek.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
I'm Cully Hamner, artist of The Question in Red, and you're listening to the Ninja Troll Digicast.
All right, welcome back to the Ninja Troll Digicast. It's time now for our showcase segment. Last week we had part 1 of our Robin showcase. Now it's time for part 2.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ninja Troll Digicast proudly presents The Showcase.
All right, that's right. This is a segment where we take different subjects and give you a closer look at them. We did a showcase or a spotlight on Supergirl. We've done, what else have we done?
Jack Kirby.
Jack Kirby, yeah, we did a 3-part Jack Kirby. Now, this is part 2 of our Robin showcase, because just like Jack Kirby, there was too much stuff, and a big part of that is because I've always loved Batman. It's been my favorite comic. So this is really kind of close to me. So I really got into this.
You got all that nuance in there.
Yeah,
I
got
this stuff.
lot. Yeah, I read this stuff when it came out. So it's real easy for me to do this one. So, but there's a lot of stuff. So we ended up breaking the Robin showcase up into 2 parts. Last week we did Dick Grayson and Jason Todd, and we ended up we told you a little bit or a lot about them and kind of their time after being Robin. But now we're going to go back to actually when Jason Todd was killed as Robin. Right after that, basically like a year after he was killed, because I mean they did
the mantle.
They did a phone poll to see whether Robin would survive, and we talked about that. How people voted for him to die, basically.
How many? 70 votes? 75?
It was separated by 72 votes.
Wow.
Would
you have voted for or against the killing?
Against.
Tim?
I didn't.
You would have kept Jason Todd?
No. Against him surviving.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, because I never really did. I was one of the ones that didn't really like him. I just didn't. I mean, he was a pain in the butt. And the funny thing is, later, Damian is just as much of a pain in the butt, but I like his character, and I'm not sure what the difference
son
is.
Of Batman.
That's
so
kind of you kind of give him
to deal with it.
Yeah, you kind of give him a little bit of a pass.
Right.
But yeah, I didn't like Jason Todd. I was one of those that didn't. I mean, but it was a 900 number. It was 50 cents. I was not paying money to vote for it.
That could have got you a comic back then.
I know, yeah.
A whole comic.
So that's, I mean, I would, if I had have voted, I would have voted against him surviving. But because of the really close results of the telephone poll, DC really decided to reintroduce Robin, but wanted to do it in a way that the fans would accept. So it was basically, they wanted to give them a chance to be accepted, him to be accepted before as he was introduced. So they introduced in Batman number 436 in the Batman Year 3 story, in a flashback to the night, because the Year 3 storyline all centered on Dick Grayson. Right. That was like the first year that he was Robin.
Yeah.
And in a flashback to the night that Dick Grayson's parents were killed, Tim Drake was introduced. Him and his parents were at the circus that night.
Oh.
And he was a big fan of the Flying Graysons, and he looked up to Dick. He was years younger than him, but he looked up to him. And he was there to see the Flying Graysons.
Wow. So how old is Tim Drake when he sort of comes into the mix?
When he's 9 years old, he figures out that Dick Grayson is Robin, and and see, that's the thing. That was the thing with him. He was a detective.
Tim Drake.
Yes.
Yep.
He's absolutely a detective. But that night he had him and his family had their picture taken with the Flying Graysons.
Oh.
And then watched them plummet to their death.
Oh,
so yeah, that's horrible.
Oh, man.
Yeah. But yeah, years later, at the age of 9, Tim Drake saw a news report on the dynamic duo and saw Robin execute like the triple flip.
The triple Lindy?
Something like that. Yeah, something that he was known for. And he started looking and was like, and he figured out that Dick Grayson was Robin.
From the move?
Yes.
From like the acrobatic
that
move?
was, because he was a huge fan of the Flying Graysons, and Dick specifically, he knew his moves.
Wow.
And he knew the stuff that he did. And he did that move. He saw it on the news, figured out that Dick Grayson was Robin, and by extension, Bruce Wayne was Batman.
Wow.
So he had figured out who they were. He figured out the identities of Batman and Robin. He followed their careers. He knew when Dick moved on to be Nightwing, and when Jason, he didn't really know who Jason was.
Mm-hmm.
But he knew when there was a new Robin.
Yeah.
He knew it was a different person. And it wasn't publicly known that Robin had been killed, but Tim noticed that Robin was now gone,
mm-hmm.
and Batman had become much more violent. After Jason was killed, it was like a year before this happened, and he was much more violent, and he was reckless, and because he was so racked up.
I would love to see the first fight between Joker and Batman.
Oh yeah, it was not pretty. He was
kicked the crap out of him.
Yeah. But he'd gotten not just more violent, but he'd gotten more reckless, more sloppy.
Oh.
And so Tim Drake actually finds Dick and tries to convince him that he needed to go back to being Robin. He tells him, he goes and finds him and says that Batman needs a Robin. But
he's Nightwing at this point.
He's Nightwing.
He's in the Titans.
Exactly. Yes, he's in the Titans.
Uh-huh.
And but Dick tells him that his time as Robin is over. And actually, Alfred, he goes to Wayne Manor. He talks to Alfred. He's trying because he is convinced that there's something wrong with Batman, and he needs that influence of having a Robin, and he wants Dick Grayson to be Robin again, so that it'll fix things.
Who is the ray of light?
Yeah,
right,
so
as you described.
Exactly. Yeah, he is the ray of light in the Batman, the dynamic duo.
Yeah.
So, and Alfred is actually the first to suggest that perhaps Tim should be Robin. Batman, of course, poo-poos that because there's like, okay, there's not going to be
going through that again.
Yeah, we're not doing that again. But while on a mission together, Batman and Nightwing are captured by Two-Face. Tim is desperate to help, so he and Alfred decide that Tim should don the costume of Robin and help them. So he actually puts on the Robin costume and goes to save Nightwing and Batman.
Cool.
That did not go over well with
Batman.
Bet.
Yeah.
He saves them, but then Batman angrily tears the mask off of Tim and tells him that there's no more Robin.
Wow.
That does not happen.
Oh,
he states that after one boy has died in the suit, he wouldn't take the risk a third time. And Tim tells him that just like Batman has become a symbol, so has Robin. And Batman agrees to let him tag along as they chase Two-Face. Then after Tim helps capture Two-Face, Bruce agrees to at least give Tim a tryout.
Cool.
Because he showed that he could help out. And like I said, I love that cover there. That's when he stole the Robin suit.
Oh, nice.
And he comes swinging in there.
Wow. Who's the artist on that one?
That is
it Ordway?
I think it's Aparo, I believe.
Oh, right, Aparo. Sorry, I'm trying to learn these names.
Yeah, I believe it's Jim Aparo, but I'm not entirely sure.
Cool.
That was the Lonely Place of Dying storyline. It was like a 5-part, and it went across Teen Titans, Batman Detective Comics. It crossed over all of them.
Oh wow. And your cousin Chuck Dixon.
Yes, yeah. Chuck Dixon is one of my favorites, favorite writers. I love him.
Oh, he's a writer.
Yes, he's a writer.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see, where was I? Oh, okay. Yeah, he agrees to let him tag along to run down Two-Face, and he sees that he is a detective, and he does. I mean, he's a very sharp kid.
Nice.
So he agrees to give him a tryout. He trained him for almost 2 years basically never letting him put on the Robin uniform or even telling him that he was official Robin.
Just always making him work.
Making him stay in the cave. That he had to stay back there. He did grunt work. He looked up stuff, but that's where Batman figured out that he is a detective and he knows how to figure this stuff out.
Right.
And he's a hell of a computer hacker too.
Oh.
Yeah. So he's got a lot of computer skills, so that helps out a lot. And as Batman was working a case that was seemingly, it was like random people committing crimes, but they were all wearing skeleton masks.
Oh, is that what's that character who has the skeleton face? He wears that skeleton mask. He's a Batman villain, I think.
That's a Batman villain? I
think
of
so.
Crossbones. But he's a Captain America.
No, right. He's a Marvel.
Yeah.
Who's the DC? I've seen him before in a few things. Where is not Skullface?
I don't know. That's not anything that rings a bell with me.
No, all right. I might be mixing the waters here a little bit.
Yeah.
But sorry.
But it was completely random people, but they were committing crimes all wearing a skeleton mask. While he's out on the case, Tim figures out that the villain behind it all was actually Scarecrow, but he couldn't reach Batman. So he starts to get scared, and he was like, he's figured out that Scarecrow is behind it all, and he's setting a trap. So Batman had actually been captured by Scarecrow along with Vicky Vale. So that's why he couldn't
Vale, the reporter?
Yes. Who is a love interest for Bruce Wayne.
Yep.
At the time.
Yep.
But Tim decides that he must basically disobey Batman's orders and go after them to try and let him know what he's found out so he wouldn't fall into a trap, which has already happened, unfortunately.
Cool.
He orders a cab and finds the warehouse where Scarecrow was and has Batman and Vicky, and he puts on a ski mask to keep from being recognized. He gets into the warehouse and is able to shake off. He actually shakes off a dose of fear gas.
What, from Scarecrow?
Yeah.
Batman
Yes.
can't even do that sometimes.
Yeah, he was able to do that, and it actually, while he was trying to get past that, visions of Dick and Jason come to him and say, "Listen, you've got to get up. If you don't get up and do something, Batman's going to die. You have to do you have to do your part to be Robin, and you can do it."
That's awesome.
So it was his own mind fighting back against the fear toxin.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was an awesome little panel, especially the cover of that issue right there.
Is that it?
Yeah, Batman is the Scarecrow has him tied up, and he's obviously under the fear gas.
He's
so
got spiders all over him.
Batman is seeing spiders all over him, and the window busts open, and it's Tim. You don't see who it is, but it's like a shadowy figure busting in on the Scarecrow. And that's Tim Drake.
What a moment!
And Norm Brayfogle is the artist on that.
Okay.
But yeah, he gets in there and he actually shakes off the gas, which, like you said, Batman can't always do that. So he's able to shake it off, and he actually he knocks Scarecrow back into a rack of the fear toxin, so he kind of gets all of them knocked down onto him. So he's a quivering mass over in the corner.
Yeah.
So when that is, he gets Batman revived, and the cabbie that dropped him off was like, okay, I just let a kid out in the middle of a pretty sketchy neighborhood. Maybe I should call the cops. So the cops are on the way. So Tim revives Batman and then gets the heck out of there and waits for him at the Batmobile. And when he gets there, Tim actually tells him, is like, okay, I know I can't be Robin now because I broke the rules. But I felt like I needed to do what I needed to do to help you. But yeah,
so whatever it's worth.
Yeah, I accept the fact that I can't be Robin now.
Yeah.
Because I did that. And so Batman actually asked him, okay, why didn't you put on the Robin suit? Why didn't you, if you were going to do this?
Yeah, go full.
Yeah, why didn't you do that? And he said that he was afraid that if he failed, that he would disgrace the suit.
Well, and it would be right back to where Batman's lowest point again.
Yeah, exactly.
With another dead Robin.
So yeah, he was afraid. He was afraid that he would disgrace it.
Yeah.
And then Batman tells him that sometimes heroes get to break the rules, and then he calls him Robin.
Whoa.
So that's like the moment where he becomes, and it, like they go back to the Batcave, and he tells him, he's like, listen, I'm not sure if I want to put on Jason's suit because it's got a lot of history to it.
Yeah, right.
And he says, I agree. Here, go put this on. And he gives him a new Robin uniform. That it's a more modern, updated. It's got a armored tunic.
Yeah.
The
pants.
It has pants, yes, and boots. And the cape is actually, instead of being all yellow, it's yellow on the inside and black on the outside.
Oh, like Batgirl.
Yeah.
Well, she was.
And it's got a stylized R on the cover, on the chest.
Yeah.
So it's a very stylized R instead of just the regular, Arial bold R that Dick Grayson and Jason Todd had.
That's this panel here that we're looking
yes.
at.
Yeah.
Right, so
again, Norm Brayfogle again was the artist on that.
That's great art. Yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible work. But he introduces he reveals the new suit. But that didn't really. That wasn't the end of it. And actually, the suit, that new suit, it was designed by Neil Adams. The new costume was designed by Neil Adams.
Yeah.
But it's funny, the artist for that, Norm Brayfogle, the artist for that issue, had, as a kid and a fan of Batman, had sent. They had at one point. DC Comics had hey, what do you think? What do you think a new costume for Robin would look like? And he had sent one in.
Oh.
So he had like his first published stuff.
Whoa.
Was a Robin redesign in one of their issues.
And was similar to the new costume.
I don't remember what it looked like.
Oh, wow.
I kind of remember seeing it, but I don't remember what his looked like. But yeah, the new uniform was designed by Neil Adams, so you definitely got a good take on that.
That's awesome.
To have the new suit.
Yeah.
But like I said, even though that was new look for. I don't know if you can zoom in on that to see if it tells you names.
No Brayfogle here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe that was a different time
kids.
a different time that they asked for like a new look for Robin.
Some of these are hilarious.
Yeah.
Wow. This guy is after
Look
George
at
Perez. Janet Herthington from Kingston, Ontario. She made like a groovy looking Robin.
It's like a leisure suit kind of look for Robin.
With an early pop collar.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
But even with this, okay, now he's told him he's Robin. He's introduced, like he's gotten a new suit. But he still didn't really, start to be Robin. He actually sent him overseas for like a tour to train with different masters.
You go to like Nanda Parbat at all, or was that's
he
more
did?
the movie,
I think
right?
he did at some point. No, he didn't run into Ross. He went to. He was in Paris. This was the Robin miniseries, the 5-part Robin miniseries.
Yeah,
which was the first time that Robin had ever been in a single issue like all like that was named after him, and it was a solo thing.
Titans, it wasn't a Batman series,
and it was a 5-part miniseries, and that covered him going around the world and training with these different masters.
Yeah, I remember. I still have this.
Yeah. Yep.
Awesome.
I've actually got a print of the artwork without the masthead and everything.
Oh,
I've
cool.
got it up. Yeah.
Awesome.
I love it. Yeah,
Is
I love
Tom
that cover.
Lyle, Bob Smith?
No, the cover is Brian Bolin, I think.
Yeah, it is. Brian Bolin, along the side with
Yeah.
Chuck Dixon as the writer.
Yep.
Cool.
But yeah, he went around the world to perfect his techniques.
So it's in Paris, right? It's
Yeah,
Eiffel
that's in
Tower.
Paris. Yeah, and he is actually the first Robin who wasn't an orphan or adopted by Bruce Wayne, at least initially.
He had a punch card.
Yeah.
Pack your
and
lunch.
his family was basically, they were rich, just like, maybe not just like Bruce Wayne, like to the level of Bruce Wayne, but they were well-to-do.
They're 1%ers.
They lived in the neighborhood, basically. So, after the death of his father, after the deaths of his father in Identity Crisis and his best friend Superboy in Infinity Crisis.
Oh, that's right.
Or Infinite Crisis.
Yeah.
Tim relocated to Bloodhaven, where Nightwing is, to kind of escape the ghost of Gotham. and redesigns his costume to red and black to match Connell's colors. So he adjusted the suit a little bit to almost what Damien wears now. It lost the green entirely, so it was just red and black.
Yeah.
He's also, at that point, after his father passed away, then he is formally adopted by Bruce Wayne and changes his name to Tim Drake Wayne.
I saw that in parentheses on the wiki, right? It had Wayne.
Yeah, Tim Drake Wayne. Yeah.
Interesting.
After Batman's apparent death in Final Crisis and Dick Grayson assuming the mantle of Batman, Dick chooses Bruce's biological son Damian, which we'll get to later, to be Robin instead of Tim, telling Tim that he sees him as an equal, not a sidekick or not like an apprentice. He sees Tim as an equal, and he's his own hero, and he should like forge his own path.
Yeah.
Then Tim assumes the name and the costume of Red Robin.
That's where that comes from.
That's where that comes from. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. And the Red Robin series launched in 2009. So Robin series ended and Red Robin launched in 2009, and that was a really good series as well. Tim is convinced that Batman's not dead, that Bruce is not dead.
Wow.
So, and nobody else.
Final Crisis.
Yeah, and nobody else believes him. Nobody else in the Bat family believes him. So he basically kind of just cuts himself off from all of them and leaves, and goes around the world searching for clues that Bruce is still alive. And while he's traveling, he was approached by and reluctantly entered an alliance with the League of Assassins.
Okay.
Yeah, and for a time was actually put in charge of the League by Ra's. Yes, so he was in charge of the entire League.
Was he an heir? Was he?
No, but he was put in charge. But it was all a ruse. That was the thing. He was there, like, okay, he put me in charge. Well, I'm gonna try and figure out if I can cripple the League while I'm here. In charge. But Ra's had put him in charge to keep him out of Gotham, while Ra's was actually attempting to use Hush, who had been surgically altered to look like Bruce Wayne, to steal, basically to gain control of the family fortune.
Wow.
So Tim actually defeats Ra's and figures out what he's doing and outsmarts him and beats him. And Ra's al Ghul, when he realized that Tim had bested him, calls him detective, and that's what he always calls Bruce.
Yeah,
he calls him detective.
Awesome.
So that's of course. Then he threw him out a window, but which Nightwing had to catch him. But it's one of that's one of those things. Is like, whoa, that's what he always calls Bruce.
All right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's definitely a level up. Yeah. But after Bruce's return, Tim helps him with the Global Batman Incorporated, and is actually for a while appointed as the head of the Outsiders, which served as the Black Ops wing of Batman Incorporated.
Cool. And
he also rejoins the Teen Titans as their leader. That gets you up to the New 52 reboot. With the reboot, Tim got a new costume and a new backstory entirely. The costume is somewhat of a variation of the old costume, but with a mask instead of a cow, because like the Red Robin outfit.
So this is New 52 Robin.
Yeah, the like from the neck down, it kind of looks like the Red Robin outfit, but there's no cowl. It's a domino mask like he was, and the cape has almost like a feathered look to it, like it's almost wings.
Yeah. He's kind of like Falcon a little bit.
Yeah.
It's an interesting way.
And it's actually they're rocket powered wings, so he can fly.
Wow.
So yeah.
Killer.
So this is really cool. He shows up in Teen Titans #1, having been in semi-retirement after a falling out with Batman, and using his computer skills similar to Oracle. Mm-hmm. He's been monitoring teen superheroes like Static, Miss Martian, Solstice, and Kid Flash. And Tim soon comes out of retirement and back in the crime-fighting world with his new suit. But when you first see him, he's just in civilian clothes, and he's going to talk to these different
to try and form the team.
Yeah, trying to form the team.
Cool.
But not with him as like the leader. Is just kind of he's forming a team.
And is this going to be the new Teen Titans?
That is
or
now. It's the series that's going now.
Okay.
Yeah.
This isn't the Young Justice.
No, he was
series.
part of that as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that has Martian Girl.
Yes, Miss Martian.
Miss Martian. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. The new origin is a large departure from his original one. There's no connection to Dick's origin story at all now. So that whole part is gone. He's a talented athlete and computer genius who comes close to discovering Batman's identity, but never totally figures it out. And Drake is not his name.
What?
We get to that in just a second. Okay. He tries to get Batman to accept him as a sidekick, but is rejected. He then decides to bring Batman to him, so he hacks Penguin's bank account and donates millions of dollars.
Boom.
So that gets Penguin's attention.
Yeah.
So Penguin's coming for him. Batman knows that he's coming for him, so he has to save him. And Tim's parents, at that point, go into witness protection, but they think Tim deserves better, so they ask Bruce to take care of him.
So that's how then he gets
exactly
warded again.
Yeah, witness protection renames him Tim Drake.
Wow.
So that's his actual that's where he gets the name Tim Drake. And he takes on the identity of Red Robin instead of Robin out of respect to Jason Todd. Although that's been adjusted to say, because that's what they were originally saying, that he never was actually Robin. Now they've turned that around, and they've accepted that they've retconned that to where he was Robin.
They worked it in so they could do it. Okay.
Yeah. Then during the Futures End series, an older Tim Drake takes over the role of Batman after Terry McGinnis dies in Batman Beyond. Yes.
Yeah.
So now, starting a few months ago, Tim is now the star of the Batman Beyond series in the future in Neo Gotham.
Whoa.
So, and I read Batman Beyond, and I'm still not quite sure. Okay, does Tim Drake still exist in the main storyline?
Right.
And this is an alternate
future.
Tim Drake,
Yeah,
alternate
right.
future. Because in the Robin War crossover that's coming up, that I'm really excited about, Tim Drake is involved. It's like, okay, is he coming back from Batman Beyond
to fight in that
to get in
that
this
series,
or is this Tim Drake that's Batman Beyond, is that a separate?
Interesting.
Yeah, so I'm interested in that. I'm not sure exactly how that, thrashes out.
Yeah.
So I read the books and I'm still a little confused. So that tells DC, you need to hammer something out here and let us know what's going on.
And when does that Robin War issue come out?
That, I think,
November,
starts
or?
next month.
Oh,
I think it starts in October.
Fabulous.
And it will include all of them. Red Hood, Nightwing, Tim Drake, Damian Wayne, all of them.
Wow.
And the We Are Robin. Because that's the thing. Damian's been traveling around the world. He gets back, and there's all these kids running around calling themselves Robin. And he's like, what the hell is this?
Every time I walk by that comic, I hear, "We are Robin." Dum, 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 dum. And now you will.
Yep.
For the
Thanks
rest
for
of the
that.
time. Musical duct tape.
Yeah. But that catches us up with Tim Drake.
Yeah.
Now, the fourth Robin.
Right. This is brand new territory for me.
Which has now been retconned out. I'll just say this now.
Stephanie
Brown.
Okay.
She was introduced in Detective Comics number 647 in 1992 as the daughter of a villain called the Clue Master. And she was simply created as a plot device. She was seeking to spoil her father's plans, so she donned a costume and took on the name Spoiler. And just basically, she didn't fight crime, she fought him. Basically threw a monkey wrench into his stuff.
Wow.
That's how she was introduced. The next year in the ongoing Robin series starring Tim Drake, Stephanie was a supporting character acting as a foil and a love interest.
Yeah.
Yeah, they dated for a good long while.
What was her, she's got that purple costume. What was her sort of mantle name or code name?
Spoiler. She was a spoiler.
That was her name was Spoiler?
Yes.
Oh, so it wasn't just a spoiler.
No.
Oh.
She went by the name The Spoiler.
Sorry, I thought you were telling me I'm not going to tell you so you could read it.
No, she was.
You never do that, so.
Yeah. No, yeah, exactly. I never stopped. She went by the name The Spoiler.
Okay.
So
I see Robin and the Spoiler.
Yeah.
Cool.
And so after Tim's father learned of his role as Robin, he sent him off to a boarding school and basically forced him to live a normal life for a while. So with him gone, Stephanie snuck into the Batcave in a homemade Robin costume and demanded that Batman trained her. Somehow that actually, and I think part of the reason he agreed to it was almost to like get Tim to come home.
Okay,
so like he agreed to it reluctantly, and put her through several months of intensive training. And she patrols with Batman for a while, but he fires her after she disobeyed him on 2 different missions. So he just that's it. You're out of here. And in an effort to prove her worth to Batman, she stole one of he apparently has plans laying around for dealing with the Gotham underworld. So she goes, steals one of those plans and puts it into place and arranges a meeting to bring them all together. What she wasn't actually figuring on is because the plan, it was built around the involvement of Matches Malone, which she didn't realize is actually him. He goes undercover in the underworld for every once in a while, and he uses the persona Matches Malone to sneak in. It's a persona he's built up, and he's gained like an amount of respect with that name. So when he shows up, he's got a little backstory. He just does it occasionally.
He's
not a new guy.
Yeah, he's like,
exactly.
Hey, I'm not the cops.
But this whole plan was built on the involvement of Matches Malone, and of course Batman's not involved, so Matches can't be involved. So it fell apart quickly, and pretty much a citywide gang warfare breaks out. And she is captured by Black Mask and tortured. She escapes and makes her way to the hospital, but dies from her injuries, or seemingly.
This was the guy I was thinking of earlier.
Black Mask.
Yeah,
okay.
Black Mask, because I thought it was a skull. But...
It's basically just a mask.
Okay.
It was later revealed that her death was faked by Dr. Leslie Tompkins. You remember I was telling you she's an important figure.
The doctor, right, who looks after Batman when he's super hurt.
She faked her death. Since her secret identity had been compromised, Leslie faked her death so that villains couldn't use her against Batman. So then after Batman's apparent death, Batgirl at the time was Cassandra Cain. She became disillusioned with crime fighting after Batman's death and gave her costume and Batgirl identity to Stephanie. So Stephanie became Batgirl.
That's where I've seen that picture where she's got the cowl and the Robin suit on at the same time. So it's a blended time for a moment there.
Yeah. So she became Batgirl, and she remained Batgirl up to the new 52 reboot, which at that point wiped out her history completely. She was never Robin. She was never Batgirl. Nothing. And she appeared in Batman number 28 in April of 2014 as the Spoiler. So she's back to being the Spoiler
as
now.
her. Okay, so she's her Nightwing.
Now, Damian Wayne.
Oh Lord.
Who is the current Robin? He was introduced as a baby in the graphic novel Batman: Son of the Demon. An unnamed baby. He was born at the end of the issue. But Batman works with Ra's al Ghul for a time and has an affair with Talia,
his daughter, right?
Yeah, which results in one of his daughters. Yeah, his favorite, his heir, basically, which results in her becoming pregnant. After Batman almost gets killed protecting Talia, she decides that she can't let him continue to act that way because he'll end up getting himself killed if he's always trying to protect her. So she tells him that she miscarried the baby. He leaves to return to Gotham, and the last panel, like I said, the last panel you see the child born, but it's not named.
Wow.
But you know he has a child. And then at the time, that wasn't in canon. It was a graphic novel that was outside. Okay. Yeah. But it's now been folded in actually by Grant Morrison.
Cool.
In the Grant Morrison story, Batman and Son, Damian is introduced in Batman 655. He was raised by Talia and the League of Assassins and has become a talented martial artist and quite a formidable warrior. Talia leaves him with Bruce in an attempt to disrupt his work. He's precocious, spoiled, extremely violent.
Nice.
And he immediately goes after Tim Drake, who he wants to replace as Robin. He even sucker punches Tim as they're fighting on top of the T-Rex in the Batcave. Damian was getting ready to fall. Tim stops to help him up And then he sucker punches Damien sucker punches him and knocks him off of the T-Rex.
Awesome.
Yeah, he's a pill boy. He then escapes and makes a variation of the Robin costume from Jason's tunic. He stole Jason's tunic out of there, and he mixed that with assorted League of Assassins gear, and gets into a fight with a villain named Spook, and then he decapitates him.
Yes. Wow. So Robin's darker than Batman.
Yes, exactly.
Right now.
He seems to. He genuinely seems to want to help in the war on crime. I mean, he wants to help Batman, and he craves Bruce's approval because he's his father.
Yep.
But because of how he was raised, he has no sense of social behavior whatsoever.
Because he was raised with
the League of Assassins. Yeah,
right.
And he believes that to be accepted by Bruce, he must take out any rivals, which includes Tim Drake.
Awesome. Love that.
And for a while, Damien goes back with his mother and even thwarts an attempt to resurrect Ra's al Ghul. And he did that by escaping his mother's custody and coming to tell Batman what's going on, what she's trying to do.
Wow.
At the end, Talia takes Damien and escapes from them. And after Bruce's death, Damien, it affected Damien a lot, and it made him less arrogant and vicious, and kind of regressed him to a little more of a childlike mindset. So, because when he first introduced, he did not act like a kid.
No, he's killing people, punching people.
Yeah, and he was like a 20-year-old. I mean, he didn't act like a 8-9-year-old kid.
Right.
He came to Gotham and started living with Nightwing, with him kind of calling, well, more or less kind of calling the shots. And although he still had problems with Tim Drake, he did save him from falling to his death after they were attacked by Jason Todd during the Battle of the Cowl storyline, where they were trying to decide who was going to be Batman. When, just like we talked about earlier with Tim, when Dick takes over as Batman, he chooses Damian instead of Tim to be his Robin. Despite this, Damian says that he cares little for his older brother, meaning Dick, and that if he wanted his respect as Batman, he would have to earn it. So,
damn,
little
firecracker.
Yeah, he's still impermanent and a pain in the tuchus. But he demanded that when Dick was inducted into the JLA as Batman, he demanded that he be inducted as well at the same time. And they just kind of went, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, no.
So, it's not going to happen. But after that, Dick kind of concentrated on training him and focusing on training him with how he needed to operate and how the two of them needed to operate together.
Yeah.
And this is where, like we always talk about, Robin was the ray of light with Batman. Now it's the opposite.
Right.
Because the ray of light, the ray of light is now Batman.
He's grown up. Yeah.
He's grown up. And Robin is the dark one now. So it was definitely a different dynamic.
Yeah.
And they both, Damian thought he was actually in charge. He thinks he's smarter than everybody. But he starts to learn that you learn a lot from people if you give them a chance.
Right.
And he makes a progression. And like I said, it's all about story arc. He does have a story arc, and he does start to make progression. And they get their own style and their own unique crime fighting style.
Cool.
So, Tim and Damian, of course, they continue to bump heads after Damian hacked into Tim's hit list of potential enemies and found his own name on it. So that got him kind of hacked off. So he got into it with Tim there.
Yeah.
And due to him choosing sides with Dick Grayson, or what Talia believes to be taking sides with Dick Grayson, Talia begins to clone Damian and tells him that basically he's no longer welcome and he's an enemy of the House of Al Ghul. But in Damian style, he goes, "I hope to be a worthy one."
Ooh. Way to go, kid.
Exactly. After Bruce returned, he accepts his son and his role as Robin, but he feels that Dick should continue to be the Batman of Gotham while he pursued his plans with Batman Incorporated. So Dick continued to be Gotham City's Batman.
Okay.
While he then concentrated on getting other people, like
Around the world,
selling the
right.
McDonald's franchises around around the world. So
sign up now and get a free cow.
Exactly. And he felt like Dick was a good influence on Damian. So he had him continue. He stayed there with Dick to continue their team up. To help Damian to trust other people and find some friends, Dick has him to join the Teen Titans. Of course, he has a contentious relationship with them because he's Damian, until Tim Drake comes to the Titans for help with a case and decides to rejoin the team. And because he says, feeling that they don't need two Robins, and knowing that the rest of the team would rather team up with Tim, he was like, okay, I'm done. I'm cool. I'm out of here. And left and go. And it was actually, it was kind of funny because it was like, okay, I'm not wanted here. I'm leaving. But he gets back to Gotham City, and he tells Dick that even though he knew that he sent him to the Titans in order for him to make friends, he doesn't need to because he's got one. So he actually admitted that he has feelings for Dick and that they're becoming close, and it was actually a really cool moment.
Right after all that time of contentious relationship.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was a fun little moment. Then after the New 52 reboot, Bruce returns to being the only Batman, while Dick returns to being Nightwing, and Damian remains as Robin. So you finally get Batman and Robin, father and son, actually being together.
Is that the son of Batman?
Yes.
Batman and Son?
Yeah. No,
series?
actually, Batman and Son was the series where he was introduced, but he never actually was Robin with Bruce until after the New 52 reboot. And during the Leviathan story arc, Talia puts a price on Damian's head. Bruce fakes Damian's death and secludes him in the Batcave, but Damian goes against his wishes and escapes, donning a new costume under the name of Redbird. And in Batman Incorporated, number 8, actually, he's back in the Robin costume at that point. In Batman Incorporated number 8, Damian was killed in battle with Heretic, who is an aged adult clone of him.
Oh, wow.
That Talia had sent to kill him.
Yeah, I saw some pictures of Talia growing clones in little urns and stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty creepy.
Yeah.
But he dies in battle defending the city, Wayne Tower, and an unconscious Nightwing. So he died, in the words of Grant Morrison, he saves the world. He does his job as Robin. He dies an absolute hero.
Wow.
So it was cool. And like he came into Wayne Tower where they were attacking.
Yeah.
And he comes in and he saves Nightwing, and they're both behind cover, and they kind of have a little moment where they're talking about when they were Batman and Robin, and basically we had some fun, and they have a little moment.
Wow.
Then Nightwing gets knocked out, and he basically faces off with Heretic, and he holds his own for a while, and then he gets stabbed through the chest and gets killed, and it sent both Bruce and Dick over the edge. It tore both of them up.
Oh, is this moment here?
That's when he stabbed him. Yeah.
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 Ooh,
yeah.
Lord.
And they chased down Heretic and almost beat him to death. And Nightwing and Bruce was beating him to death, and Nightwing wasn't doing anything to stop him. And the only thing that stopped him, Bruce stops himself before killing him when he sees the resemblance to Damian.
Oh.
So he sees his own son's
and
face.
He's like, oh man.
So he stops himself from killing him. But then Talia beheads Heretic because he didn't finish his mission to kill Damian.
Yeah.
So Damian's body is actually later stolen from Wayne Manor by Ra's al Ghul, Talia, and the League to attempt to resurrect him. And they actually a couple times they would get it back, then they would steal it again. And it went on for a while, and until basically Batman tells Roz, listen, you try this again and I will kill you. It's just like straight up, listen, don't do it anymore. Right? Knock it off.
So they never got it back to the waters, right?
They did, but it never worked. There was a couple times that like they got it to what they thought was a Lazarus pit, but it didn't work. So there was something about that Lazarus pit that didn't work, or it wasn't really they got to change the filter. Exactly. Yeah. So, but Darkseid's minion, Glorious Godfrey, comes to Earth looking for the Chaos Shard, and finds a trace signature coming from Damien's body. Roz has stashed the Chaos Shard in Damien's coffin.
You're kidding me.
So Glorious Godfrey finds that signal, so he steals Damien's coffin and returns to Apocalypse. At this point, Batman is through the roof to the point to where he goes and he gets it's a suit that he's made, but it's completely unstable. It actually is killing him as he's wearing it. But he gets, it's called the Hellbat armor, and it's awesome. It's awesome looking. It's bad stuff, boy. But he gets that and he goes to Apocalypse with the help of, isn't it though? Isn't it cool?
That's cool.
With the help of everybody from the Bat family, Tim, Jason, Barbara, Dick, everybody's helping out, and they all wear an R while they're doing all this because they're doing it for Damien. Oh, man, so it was a cool moment of like the family come together.
Wow.
And they're all doing, like I said, they're all doing it for him, so they all wear this R. Okay, he takes the Hellbat armor to go to Apocalypse, and he gets Damien's body. He gets it and returns back to the Batcave and uses the Chaos Shard. He actually uses the Chaos Shard to stab Damien with it, and it gives him his true resurrection. It brings him back to life.
Oh, wow.
But he's been, this armor has been basically killing him. So he has a choice. He can use it to heal himself, or he can
save Damien properly.
Yeah, and he does. So he chooses Damien, and then he collapses. Thankfully, he just he collapsed, unconscious and not dead.
Yeah.
But what they forgot to close was the boom tube that had just brought him from Apocalypse. Boom tube's still open. All of a sudden, here comes Calabac and starts tearing ass through the Batcave, just beating the crap out of everybody. Until Damien comes up and knocks him out with an uppercut.
Resurrected Damien?
Yes.
What?
The Chaos Shard gave him superpowers. So the last person who needs superpowers is Damian Wayne.
Yeah.
And now he has them. It didn't last long though. It was just a little bit. But yeah, I remember the panel when it comes out of nowhere, just all of a sudden, whack, uppercut, and Calabac is not like a tooth flying.
And that's not easy to do, right?
No,
Calabac
exactly. Yeah,
super.
it's Calabac. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the son of Darkseid.
Yeah. So it was an awesome little panel, but for a while he had, like, very short while he had superpowers, and he kind of Bruce actually set up with the Justice League to give him missions. Like, they captured, or they beat and captured some kind of giant robot. So they took it to like an island out in the middle of the Pacific, so they could go, like, let him work out his. Like, he thought it was a real thing, and he went and he fought, and he was like, all right, cool. But it was all set up. But they wore off after a while. But then after the disappearance of Bruce again, which is now where we're at in the storyline, Damien goes on a world tour with some kind of big dog thing. I don't know where that came from. It was like a big dog that he puts like an armored thing on. I don't really know what it was, but yeah, he's on tour around the world now. I don't know what it was, but that's where we're at in the storyline now.
Wow,
now there's there's alternate continuities that have had Robin as well. Actually, Bruce Wayne, in a story from the 50s, a young Bruce Wayne assumed the identity of Robin to learn the basics of detective work. The complete with the outfit and everything, using the name Robin and everything. But Crisis wiped that away completely. So,
Of course.
Then there was, like we've seen in our multiverse segments, Earth 2 Dick Grayson. On Earth 2, Dick continued to be Robin even as an adult, and he never had any successors. He was always Robin, and even after Batman's death, he was Robin. He later adopted a more Batman-like costume. It had a bat symbol with an R in the middle, if I remember correctly. But he still used the name Robin.
Right, the Earth 2.
Yeah, Earth 2, yeah. Then Carrie Kelly was Robin in Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns. She actually, she was a 13-year-old girl, and she had a homemade Robin costume.
Right.
And actually in Dark Knight Strikes Back, she was Catgirl. She had changed her name from Robin to Catgirl, but she was still Batman's sidekick. In the Crime Syndicate, there is a version of Robin for Owlman. It's called Talon.
Oh, God.
Really? And also, like the Court of Owls, their hitmen are called Talons.
Oh, yeah, here's Talon.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
that might be, I don't know if that's the old story like we've been reading or the new ones.
This has to be newer art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's newer art, so it's very dark.
Earth 3 Talon.
But yeah, he's and he refers to Owlman as his father, although you don't know if it's like actually, Bruce Wayne Jr. or whatever.
Right.
Then Helena Wayne in the New 52 Earth 2, Helena Wayne, the daughter of Bruce Wayne, operated as Robin before being sent to Earth 0, which is the main Earth now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then of course you got with Elseworlds, you had Lord knows how many. There was Richard Gallstrock, who was a German immigrant. In one story, Bruce Wayne Jr. was the son of Julia Madison and Bruce Wayne. In another story, there was a robot called the Toy Wonder. There was an ape named Rodney, a samurai named Tengu, a pirate cabin boy, Bruce's nephew Thomas Wayne III, an MI6 agent named Alfred, and a Native American named Redbird.
Wow.
So with all the Elseworlds, you had plenty of different
Tons
versions.
of that stuff.
Now,
the Helena Wayne, sorry, she's the Huntress, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we've been reading.
Yeah. And she's when she got sent to Earth 0, she started using the name Huntress.
And she's not what was the Bertinelli or what was
that's the thing.
Arrow.
Helena Bertinelli.
Right.
Was the Earth 1 Huntress.
Right. Who's the son of a gangster or daughter of a gangster.
Yeah. But the Earth 2 Huntress was
daughter of
Helena Wayne.
Catwoman and Batman.
Exactly. Now, as far as on-screen versions, in the 1943 and 47 serials, Dick Grayson was a character there.
Mm-hmm.
Then in the 66 TV show, of course, Burt Ward played Dick Grayson.
Defined him, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And both Dick and Tim have been in several different animated series, and actually Damian has been in Batman the Brave and the Bold. So as far as animated, all of them have appeared. Jason, of course, has appeared in Under the Red Hood, and as Robin only as a flashback.
Okay.
But he was definitely a big part of the Under the Red Hood. So, like I said, I didn't realize this was going to take as long as it did. This ended up being huge. So
wow, Robin's been around since the 40s, right? He's had to sort of go through time as a boy, teen, and man wonder.
Yeah, wonder.
Yeah, and to keep the continuity of a Batman and Robin dynamic duo. Yeah, wow, I am all right. So I'm pretty impressed, Timmy. You did an excellent job here.
Thank you. I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. So.
I think the Damian Wayne story is so incredibly interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, wow. Like what a way he's so woven into the League of Assassins.
Yeah.
And I love the way that they flipped, like you were saying, the sort of ray of light in the Dark Knight, sort of flipping their personas, if you will, right? That's just amazing. I mean, like I want to totally dig into this stuff. I mean,
and like I said, that's the thing. It's hard to say why I like Damian, but I never liked Jason Todd. Because they were kind of the same. I guess I did give him a pass because he was Bruce's son.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, they were both a pain in the ass. I mean, but he was more of a Jason always came off more just like a kid, just being a pain in the butt kid.
Stupid and
yeah. Rather, I mean, Damien actually had skills. He didn't have nearly as many skills as he thought he did.
Yeah.
But he had a lot of skills.
Off the Batmobile?
Yeah, instead of stealing the wheels off the Batmobile, yeah, he did have like I said, not nearly as much as he thought he did, but he had been trained.
I mean, some air wrench skills.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, Batman's got the lock bolts.
Oh yeah, but yeah, the League of Assassins trained Damien to be a killer. That's what he knew. That's what he. I mean, and you think about in the League, him being a jerk and him being.
They wouldn't tolerate that. One bit.
No, he had to be that. To survive.
Yeah, but I'm sure it was within a respect. I mean, you don't speak until spoken to with Roz and stuff.
But then he was taught that if you have rivals, you take them out.
Yeah.
And so that's the way the League
threats to
operates.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was. I think it's an interesting character because you have that progression to where he actually, like right before he died, he actually had a moment where, him and Dick were just kind of like reminiscing about the fun they'd have, and they were both actually smiling. In the middle of a battle, they were having fun and talking, and so you have a progression of the character to the point to where he's integrated and he's allowed himself to become friends with Dick Grayson, and it's a big deal. It's a big deal for the character.
Wow.
So
awesome.
So it's a lot of fun. Like I said, this was like a 25-page dissertation on my on Robin here. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. So
holy thesis, Timmy D.
That's right. So, but that's going to wrap up our Robin showcase. I'm not sure what we're going to do next. We had talked about a couple different things. Maybe we might hit the Green Lanterns.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Either there's two different Green Lantern ones I want to do. Either the Lantern spectrums, like the different
all the colors of lanterns.
Or because that happened while I was away from comics, while I wasn't reading. That all happened, and it was like wait a minute.
Blackest Night.
There's more than No, that was before that. They came up with the spectrums before all that.
Oh wow!
When I got back into comics, that was when Blackest Night was happening.
Because there was always Sinestro, right? Who was a Green Lantern,
but he didn't have his own core. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Well, he did have his own core.
Sinestro Corps was a
I think that's
right?
where it started from.
Okay.
And then they started, they did the whole emotional spectrum.
The Red Lanterns seem the most interesting to me.
Yeah, they're fueled by hate.
Is it? Oh, what's his fear is Sinestro.
Yeah, fear is Sinestro.
And hate is
the Red Lanterns,
which is easy to go to.
Yeah,
emotionally.
Exactly. So it was So we either do that or the Lanterns of 2814, which that's our sector.
Right. That's our
space sector. So I'll probably do the emotional spectrums. It'll be good.
Cool.
We'll do that next week. So
awesome.
But that's going to wrap up our showcase segment. Before we get out of here, we're going to give you our pick of the week. You want to go first, or you got something ready?
I went first. You go.
Okay.
Last
All
time.
right.
You go first.
It's something I meant to mention last week and I couldn't remember it, so so I wrote it down for this week.
Yeah.
It's something I've been reading is 21st Century Tank Girl.
Nice.
I never read the original Tank Girl comic. I'd seen the movie and I liked the movie. It was a lot of fun. But when I saw this out, it's a new version of Tank Girl, and so I picked it up and I'm absolutely loving it. It's like usually 4 different stories in each issue.
Oh, cool.
And so you get a bunch of different artists, writers. Take on the character, but it's a lot of fun. It's very post-apocalyptic. Well, depending on the story, you can kind of do whatever you want with Tank Girl.
You just need a tank. And
most of the time, it's
guys.
It's post-apocalyptic kind of stuff, and it's just a lot of fun. So if you enjoyed the movie Tank Girl, and if you've never seen Tank Girl, go out and rent it. You'll love it. And check out 21st Century Tank Girl. So that's my pick of the week.
Awesome. So I got a couple because we're waiting on some of the biggies to come out.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm loving the 1872 series from Secret Wars. Number 3 comes out this week, which is really cool, and a lot of variant titles. Deadpool versus Thanos, number 2.
Oh, is number 2 out already?
No, it came out today, which is fantastic. But the best one ever. Okay, before it dies, Batman 66. They're doing it. They're pulling out all the stops on this one.
Okay.
He fights Bane.
Oh,
and
wow.
Check out what Bane
And Batman
does
66?
to him. Yeah, look at Adam West getting crunched.
He's breaking his back. Oh, man.
So it's a riddle me this. What kind of ring isn't round? A wrestling ring, of course. This issue, Batman finds himself in the middle of a ring contest. Cape Crusader pursues the Riddler south of the border. To Mexico.
Into luchadors.
And encounters half of a terrifying tag team, the masked menace known only as Bane.
Oh, that's cool.
With a Batgirl appearance. So I'm so excited.
That is cool. That's cool. I might have to pick that up just to see how they do that.
They're really going for it right now. Like I said, the last issue had Poison Ivy, and then a couple before that, Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
So I think they're trying to work in newer characters into the 66 lexicon, which I think is brilliant.
That's cool. Yeah.
So,
yeah, I just remember that's. I need to go back and reread Nightfall, that whole series where he broke his back.
Oh,
and Bane really,
Azrael, yeah,
he really broke him down because he broke everyone out of Arkham.
Damn.
And so Batman had to. He was basically going 22 hours a day to catching them all, and like he hadn't shaved, so he had like bat stubble, and he was exhausted, and they were trying to get him. It was like, listen, you can't keep doing this. You've got to rest. And Bane waited until he was absolutely completely exhausted. Then he came and he fought him and he broke his back.
Wow.
Yeah. So it wasn't just like a physical fight. Bane broke him emotionally first.
Wow.
And then he came and physically broke him. Yeah.
Oh, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a heck of a story. So
yeah.
But yeah, that's okay. That's gonna wrap things up for the Ninja Troll Digicast. Remember, for all the latest news from around geek culture, make sure you follow us on social media. Facebook.com/Ninja Troll Digicast, Twitter @Ninja Troll Show, and Instagram @Ninja Troll Digicast. And on our YouTube page at youtube.com/C/Ninja Troll Digicast. And you can always visit us at NinjaTrollDigicast.com. And while you're there, click on the subscribe to iTunes button to get the Ninja Troll on iTunes. And make sure you join us next week, same Ninja time, same Ninja channel.
You've been listening to the Ninja Troll Digicast. Tune in next time when you'll hear Tim say,
I live to see you eat that contract. But I hope you leave enough room for my fist because I'm going to ram it into your stomach and break your spine!
This is the Ninja Troll Digicast, the defenders of all things geek culture.
Don't go ninja, nobody don't need ninja.